labrum in his shoulder, suffered in the season finale against Detroit last Sunday. He'll undergo surgery in the coming days and expected to be recovered by next season. The play-in tournament concludes tonight. We've got Heat, Bulls, and Pelicans, Kings. You can catch both those games on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. And, hey, why wouldn't you want to do that? My name's RJ Ochoa. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hello and huddle up. Happy Friday. Congratulations. You made it. It is indeed Friday, April 19th, 2024. In case you forgot, in case you still aren't accustomed to writing the 24 on the end of your date. If it's taken you this long, I think that's a bit of a personal problem. My name is RJ Ochoa. There's no Rob Thompson here today, but we do have quite the show in store for you. We've got some guests that will be stopping by. Joe Reinagel of the Blitz fame will be stopping by. We've been told. Those are the reports. That is the word on the street. Joe is expected to be here in the 8 o'clock hour. I cannot wait to press his buttons about a variety of things. Going chronologically here in the 6 o'clock hour for you early huddlers, the particularly zestful members of the Morning Brigade. I had the opportunity this past week. Actually, it was a week ago. Full peek behind the curtain to speak to Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze. That's Washington, as in the Huskies, as in the national championship runner-ups. Rome Odunze, widely regarded, somewhat from a consensus standpoint, as the second best wide receiver in this year's draft class. In fact, 1 week from today, the first round will be in the books, and Rome Odunze, along with 31 other players, but I think this is the Miami forfeited year. There will be a whole bunch of new players with new teams, and Rome Odunze will absolutely be one of them. He will be one of the first players to go next Thursday night. A lot of mocks have him going to Chicago at 9 overall to pair with Caleb Williams whenever that inevitably happens, but obviously that's a bit of a wait-and-see proposition. So we'll play that interview for you, myself and Rome Odunze, here in about 30 minutes. I promise you will come away thinking very highly of him. He was a very interesting fella. Additionally, in the 9 o'clock hour, I had the chance, actually this was yesterday, this wasn't last week, to speak to both Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor. You're likely familiar with their work all across the sports media landscape. In fact, we've played a lot of Taylor Rooks' interview with Trey Young here before, and all the dot connecting that we've had going on between Trey and Victor Wembanyama, potentially uniting the two, at least in my fever dream. And on the subject of Wemby, he sat down with Connor, and that finally came out. They've been teasing it forever. We're going to get into that in a little bit. We'll dance around there a couple of times this morning, because this was one of the more insightful interviews with an athlete, or a human being really, that I have heard in quite some time. But you can hear Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor. If you are not familiar, Joy on FS1 has a bit of a propensity to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, and so I definitely pressed her a little bit to get her reaction and her thought and her take on what the Cowboys are and are not doing this particular offseason. I see you, Speckled Truth. Top of the morning to you. Hope you're having yourself a fine start to this glorious Friday, which will also include a conversation with my good friend Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live. Joseph, an incredible member that is a part of the local beat covering the Dallas Cowboys, knows the fine intricacies of everything involved with everything. He's one of the hardest working, largest hustling members of people that cover the Dallas Cowboys. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm excited to chop it up with him about 7:30 here Central Time. I don't know why that would matter to you, but we did acknowledge on Thursday that we have people listening all over the world, and so maybe you're not in the Central Time zone, so we had to make sure to delineate when that's going to be happening. So chronologically, once again, at 6:30 we'll have the Rome Odunze conversation. I promise you will love him. an hour later, after we get into our standard silver and black that we always do around here, I'll speak to Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live at 8 o'clock, according to reports. If you trust the weatherman, Joe Reinagel is expected to be here for about an hour to give his take or two on a couple of things. And I actually will be hanging in with Joe later on the Blitz for an hour as well. So this is the first of 2 times that I'll see that mug of his on this particular Friday. And then once again, in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll play the conversation that I had with Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor at the same time. So that's the table being set for our conversation here today. I appreciate those of you who are tuning in, whether you're on your way to work or the gym or making breakfast. We always want to hear from you as well. 210-656-3776. That's 656 ESPN if you want to call in and be a part of the show and offer your thoughts and opinions or advice about life at large. You can always, chat in our YouTube feed as well. We see the Brigade Bar. See you, Goldfinger. Hope you're having yourself a wonderful start to today as well. In addition to everything that we've got going on here on this show today, there's a lot of sporting action. We have the play-in tournament coming to a close tonight. The first game tips at 6. At least that's the way they've listed it. But you know how these things go. The Miami Heat, the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat. Goldfinger, I see you saying you're driving by the station right now. Be very careful if you're driving and watching on YouTube. Give us a salute on your way down the street. But the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat hosting the Chicago Bulls. I think that it's a real bummer, and we've talked about this a little bit, obviously, in the aftermath. The Zion injury, he'll miss tonight as well, and the Butler injury. The Heat, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, are 1.5-point favorites, so they are expected to get the win on the road. And again, Jimmy's absence certainly has a lot with that. The winner of this game will earn the right to be sacrificed to the Boston Celtics in the actual first round of the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. But later on this evening, if you feel like staying up, that game's on ESPN, but you can also listen to it right here on 94.1 as mentioned. But at 8:30 Eastern on TNT and True TV, if you thought you were done with it, don't worry about that. The New Orleans Pelicans will, in fact, host the Sacramento Kings. We've got 2 9 seeds. If you if you care about the seeding relative to the overall play-in tournament, the Bulls and Kings are both 9 seeds in their respective conferences, and the Kings, unlike the Bulls, the Kings are 1.5-point favorites on the road, whereas the Bulls are still 1.5-point dogs, even in spite of the Jimmy Butler news. The Kings favor to get it done against the Zion-less Pelicans. Whoever wins that game will earn the right to face the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. We had a bit to do with that because, well, the Spurs showed up and showed out a week ago today against the Denver Nuggets and took them down and impacted the seeding situation in the Western Conference, knocking the Nuggets down to 2, promoting the Thunder up to 1. So it's kind of fun and interesting in a interesting season for the Spurs to see that we still had a high level impact on the playoff picture. But tonight's games will be a lot of fun with them throughout the course of the show as well. I think we all think that the Kings are going to get this done in the second game, but that feels like the larger consensus. I think there's still a chance that Miami maybe holds on against the Bulls, but with the reports that Butler is expected to miss a couple of weeks, I don't mean to say that we don't need to see the Heat in the playoffs, but if he's not going to be there, then I'm kind of good. I'd rather see Chicago. I'd rather entertain myself that way. Although Chicago, if you look at the 4 teams who are left tonight in the play-in tournament, Chicago the only one who is below 500, and they are easily below 500. We're not talking like one game below 500 or anything like that. New Orleans 49-33, Sacramento 46-36, identical to Miami. The Bulls 39-43. I don't know that I feel great about a team with such a sub 500 record making the playoffs, the actual playoffs beyond the play-in, but that is the magic and the lure and the carrot opportunity that the play-in tournament represents, which is sort of the way that Adam Silver wanted it when they designed this whole thing to begin with. So, hey, whatever. We'll see what happens. I guess that's why they play the games. The Heat and Kings both favor to get this done. I see you, Goldfinger, saying, don't be surprised when Kings snatches the Joker's hat off the Joker and knocks him out of the playoffs. That would be wild. It would take a bit to I think you said win the King. Not the Kings, excuse me. I guess you're talking about LeBron. The Lakers are facing the Nuggets in the first round. We will, by the way, go through all of the games over the course of the weekend. There's obviously a lot that is set to happen with the playoffs starting in actuality tomorrow, both on the NBA side of things and the NHL side of things. Elsewhere in the state of Texas, the Texas Rangers, we talked about this in our Sports Center Open. They had a series clinching win on Thursday. I was going to say Friday, on Thursday against the Detroit Tigers, the moribund Detroit Tigers. They won that game 9-7. Meanwhile, today, the Houston Astros get back in action and the Rangers are off. The Rangers are in Atlanta starting tonight. That's the Apple TV game tonight. So if you're looking for that on the tube, watch out. But the Astros are in our nation's capital, set to take on the Nationals. And it is a big game for the Houston Astros because our entire rotation has been on IL, basically. And that changes tonight. Justin Verlander expected to be on the bump for the Houston Astros as they look to right this ship. The Astros are 6-14. They have been swept twice already this season, both occasions happening at home at Minute Maid Park. So hopefully Verlander can help stop the bleeding. The Nationals only 8-10. So two great baseball games tonight across the two Texas teams, with the Rangers visiting Atlanta, the team that just swept the Astros, by the way, the most recent sweep happening at Minute Maid. And Justin Verlander, again, trying to raise the floor for what we're seeing from the Astros. Although in their final game against the Braves, the Astros were in complete and total position to win that thing. It had nothing to do with starting pitching. It was their bullpen that we were told was going to be the strength of their team, with Brian Abreu and Ryan Presley and Josh Hader. And they were going to be the best closing bullpen in all of baseball. And they have been a complete and total disaster. Meanwhile, Joe Espada is talking about the back of the baseball card, or who knows what these days. It's ridiculous. So two big-time baseball games happening between the Rangers, the reigning world champion Rangers, and the Astros. We've got the two play-in games happening tonight. So lots of fun with the actual playoffs starting tomorrow, once again, across the NBA and the NHL. If you are looking for something to do this week, and if you have the house and the TV and the time to yourself to watch sports, you will have no shortage of option. Goldfinger says, correct me if I'm wrong, don't the Astros usually start off slow together? Video of other teams so they can win, LOL. They have started off slow in the past in terms of record and success and performance, and ultimately still, been able to turn around. We're only like 10% of the way through the season, maybe a little bit over at this point. So there's certainly no need to panic, but I do think that if you are an Astros fan like myself, it would feel very, very, very good to see something prominent from them in the here and now. Panth Frog says Rangers are the top squad in DFW. Well, I would say that in our current moment, the number one seeded Dallas Stars would have something to say about that. But, it's hard to argue with the reigning world champs. I mentioned it. Wemby sat down with the Ringer. Big, expansive interview where we learned a lot about him. What exactly did we learn? What do you need to know about him? On the other side of things, you and I are flying Han Solo style this morning on the Morning Huddle. I'm RJ Ochoa. Don't go anywhere. We're in for quite a bit of fun this morning. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
What's he talking about here? He's talking about Asian.
It wasn't me that started that old crazy Asian war.
I mean, isn't that racist?
No, I think it was a crazy Asian war, was it not?
It was indeed.
It wasn't Oriental.
What would make it Oriental?
If they fried it with bell pepper and pineapple and added sweet and sour sauce, that would make it Oriental.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
I love springtime, the sunshine, the longer days, but I don't love stressing about outfits for all of our plans. Between brunches, showers, and spring break, we need looks that keep up and savings that keep it under budget. That's where Kohl's comes in. I scored 25% off dresses for myself, and with the 50% off going on, I got my daughter a dress for under $22, plus iron Kohl's. Dress-free spring too? Shop at Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Women's dresses, coupons do not apply. Offers end April 21st. See store or kohls.com for details.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code ALAMO, and you can get $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Texas A&M Alabama baseball game rained out yesterday. No opportunity to see the number one team in the country was fighting Texas Ags. Welcome in. I'm RJ Ochoa. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Robbie T out today playing a little bit of hooky. Joe Reinagle set to join us around 8 o'clock. But we have a lot to get into between now and after then. We talked about this yesterday, but it did not drop until our show here was ending. The Ringers, Kevin O'Connor, sat down with Victor Wembanyama. Massive interview. That was very cool to see in a lot of different ways. It was really long. Something, again, that is totally worth your time. It is available on their YouTube channel. You can listen to it, I believe, on the Ringer NBA show. I think maybe actually the Ringer NBA draft show. But it was wonderful. It was delightful. It was a great conversation. And we learned a lot about Wemby. Such an interesting person in so many different ways, as obviously we've learned over the course of this year. And I think this year was a revelation for all of us, because while we had high expectations for Wemby, we just didn't know, what was fair, what were fair expectations, what would become ridiculous expectations, what would become ridiculous expectations that he would surpass. But he was asked if he was surprised by anything that he accomplished this year, and here's what he had to say.
No, I wouldn't say surprised, because to me it's impossible to be surprised by by your own performance, good or bad, because it's ultimately everything is a result of your own work and your mentality. So I always want more, so I'm not surprised.
I mean, perfect answer. Perfect answer. In why would I be surprised? I'm Victor Wembanyama. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. I trust myself to be very good, and that's the dream, right? I mean, that's the dream, is to have a player as talented as he is and to be as humble as he is. And that's why I had a feeling this interview was going to just hit in every single way, and it did. Now, while he wasn't surprised, there's no doubt that Wemby isn't perfect, because there is no perfect player. There is no perfect person. And he comes with flaws. We've talked about the turnovers, obviously, a number of different times. It's strange to consider that he may have flaws on the defensive side of the ball. Some of us have argued that he should, be this year's defensive player of the year. We'll get into that in a moment. But he was asked about his defensive game and what he might view to be the Achilles heel of that side of things.
I mean, honestly, sometimes when I get a block after it's a big effort, I'm talking like a big effort block. I'm not always going and keeping the play going like I did on the block,
like sprinting after the block. You mean starting
yeah,
transition?
I mean, or I have a memory. It was Jonathan Isaac in San Antonio. Like I blocked him once, and he got his own rebound, but I was tired, so I was trying to save my strength, save my energy, and he just had an easy jumper. But so yeah, I'd say this is one of my weaknesses.
It's a high level of introspection for somebody so young, not just in life, well, certainly in life, but in their career, that Wemby's able to be humble enough to identify what he may not be good at, and humble enough to acknowledge, hey, I didn't give maximum effort in those kinds of moments. And so the blocks are great, but if you're not turning them into possessions for your team, it's fair to criticize that. He mentioned, Jonathan Isaac. He was asked who were the most difficult players to face this year and to guard, which is an interesting question, because so many people have said that he was the most difficult player to be guarded by. But here are the seals of approval handed by Victor Wembanyama in that regard.
Kevin Durant is up there, but Jokic as well, because Jokic as well. Even though after each game I played him, I think I defended him better and better, and read his game better and better. But I just know he's gonna come next year with new weapons, new tricks.
Is that because like you're kind of learning their habits, or like why do you feel like you get better like after facing them one time?
Yeah, totally learning the habits and trying things. Trying things in the game against Embiid. I tried different things, and some have worked very well. Some haven't worked at all.
I mean, Kevin Durant and Joker. What a shock that those are difficult players to guard. Like what a surprise. I don't think that anybody would be would fault him for that. Again, this was such a cool interview because some of these things are common sense, like that particular answer, but it was also nice to hear his thoughts about teeny tiny little nuances, like what he could have been better at defensively. He was obviously asked about the Defensive Player of the Year conversation and how he feels about it all. Obviously, his countryman Rudy Gobert is in the mix as well. Well, here's what he had to say.
So now that the season's over, I'm gonna look more into the games and the stats. But I know it's close, definitely. And but the first thing that comes to mind for me when I hear the two front runners are him and I, it's I'm glad I'm glad for friends that this is happening, because it's huge.
Very cool. I see you in the chat, Goldfinger, talking about the Drake story. So for anyone who's unaware, JJ Redick told a story. This wasn't related to this interview specifically, but in the Wemby-ness that took over Thursday on the internet, JJ Redick told it. And I'm assuming Goldfinger, you may have seen it was one of these quotes that got turned into graphics that was shared all over the place and blah blah blah. I don't want to take JJ Redick or Wemby's thunder. This was really 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 cool. What JJ Redick had to say about Wemby, and well, here's what JJ said.
He has this amazing ability to be aware of everything happening. The stories I heard coming out of the Spurs camp, like even early in the season where there was a Drake concert in Austin and he got asked to come up on stage because Drake was doing that with a bunch of NBA guys this offseason. And Wemby was like, can my teammates come up on stage with me because they're going to be at the concert with me? And Drake's camp was like, no. And he's like, then I don't want to do it. What 19-year-old kid doesn't want to go up on stage with Drake? There's been anomalies for star players in that they have been low maintenance. There's like Steph and there's like Tim Duncan. Wemby's one of those guys.
That's if you recall the movie Draft Day, we're getting to that time of year. The super silly, cheesy story about the draft prospect who nobody came to his birthday party or whatever. It was so lame, so commercialized. But this is kind of that, but in a real life way, that Wemby wanted his teammates to be a part of it. That game was September 11th, by the way, in Austin at the Moody Center, if you just want some context. So it was early in the Wemby time. It wasn't like he had known his teammates for a long time. But yeah, good for him. Taking care of things as a rookie. On the subject of rookies and the subject of draft day, I sat down with Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze, and it is a conversation that I think you are greatly going to enjoy. He talked about his partnership with Snick, who excited he is to join the NFL, and what kind of player he is. We're going to play that for you on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we got the NBA play-in tournament going on tonight. We'll get you ready for that. Plus, well, we're less than a week away from the NFL draft. We'll talk some Cowboys football with John Machota from The Athletic at 4:35. And, oh, yeah, R.J. Ochoa from the Morning Huddle. He'll join me at 3 o'clock.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Trane heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TraneInfo.com to find your local independent Trane dealer. TraneInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Joe Reinagel here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Connecticut water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Connecticut water softener. Call the team at Connecticut at 656-PURE or online at ConnecticutSA.com. That's 656-PURE or ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I love my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to CleanOrigin.com. Founded by a leading family in the diamond industry for more than a century, we're experts in lab-grown diamonds because that's all we do. Clean Origin, the only diamond jewelers who give you a 100-day, no questions asked return on your purchase. Head to CleanOrigin.com or one of our retail stores and mention code Radio10 for 10% off your purchase. That's CleanOrigin.com, code Radio10.
Let's go!
Hi, it's Jason Minnick. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Very pleased to be joined by the one and only, the legendary, the internationally famous, the soon-to-be member of your dynasty team, soon-to-be member of everything in your household, I imagine. It is Washington Husky extraordinaire, Rome Odunze. Rome, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
No, thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
It is a very exciting time in your life, I imagine. And I want to tell you that, we jumped on very quickly because you got a small window. My name's RJ Ochoa. I probably should have told you that. So nice to meet you. You and I best friends for life now. I interviewed 2 wide receivers last year ahead of the NFL draft, and both had pretty promising rookie years. So I'm kind of a good luck charm. They were Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zay Flowers. So you're in that camp now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a party for sure.
Yeah, I have to, I was rooting for JSN to fall to the Cowboys, and I don't know if you can tell by my background. I cover the Cowboys here at SB Nation. Didn't happen. You're not going to make it anywhere near the Cowboys. I hate to say it's a real big bummer, but because you're awesome. What is your life like right now as it's about to change?
It's a little wild just traveling so much, honestly. Traveling and trying to train and maintain my shape is kind of what I'm up to right now. So many different like 30 visits you can go on with teams flying you out, getting to know them as well. And then, also trying to train during that time, and also like the anticipation of the draft. So it's a very unique time, and a time, you got to be willing to, accept change and, not be in the routine of your everyday life for sure.
Totally. And you're obviously coming off of an incredible season for Washington. You guys had an incredible season. And so I imagine you go from the national championship straight into, preparation for the NFL. You can't really take any days off. Is it like that? Do you have downtime at all? Like, do you watch Netflix? Do you play Call of Duty? Like, do you find maybe on the road when you're traveling, just time to be Rome?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I got my Xbox in my backpack right now. I got my shows downloaded for the flights and stuff. So yeah, definitely, time to relax and, just enjoy, life for a little bit. And I'm a big gamer and I love watching movies. So I always have those 2 things on deck for sure. But you got to find time and make time for sure.
I have a lot to get to, but what are you playing? What are you watching? Because somebody is going to, be a big fan of yours very soon that I wouldn't say isn't right now, but when you become part of an NFL team, people all of a sudden want to know everything about you. So for the fans of whatever team you ultimately join in very short order, what are you playing? What are you watching? Just so they can kind of get to know Rome.
What have I been? Well, recently I've been playing some Call of Duty, some Madden. I've been playing a game called Smite for a very long time. If anybody's out there, one of my fans has heard about it, or one of the fans out there heard about it, man, great game. Been on that for a long time. What am I watching? I actually just finished Outer Banks, the season 3. Just finished Outer Banks. Before I'm starting The Gentleman, which is on Netflix.
Very popular right now.
Very popular as well. So I kind of watch, the things as they come out. I listen to the top 10 recommended and just kind of watch those sometimes. But yeah.
You're making my job easy because I have to know now, who do you use in Madden? I mean, like, do you use I presume you're friends with JSN or Zay or whatever. Like, do you use people you're friends with? Do you use the Seahawks for geographical, loyalty right now? Like, or is it just random? Like, what do you do?
I'm random for sure. Okay. I'm random. I love playing with people with speed. So I'll play with I love playing with the Dolphins offense just because they have so much speed on their team. But love playing with the Chiefs with Patty Mahomes too. But I'll play with anybody. I love mobile quarterbacks. So that's my game in Madden. So I love a mobile quarterback.
Well, I have to tell you. Actually, I'll just ask, do you look at mock drafts? Do you look at things like that? Do you look at people who do like uniform swaps to kind of see what? Because I would. I'll be straight up with you. I would totally do that.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. It's not like I'm going out and seeking it. People mention me in those things on like Twitter and things like that. So I'll see it definitely, and it is definitely interesting to see the mock drafts and people put you in the uniforms. I think it's awesome that fans are that passionate and take the time to do those things. It's pretty cool, but yeah, it's definitely not something I'm seeking out, but it is interesting to see for sure. And the mocks, I don't put any validity in the mocks. The mocks are crazy, but they are fun that people create them.
You mentioned Twitter. I checked out your Instagram because I wanted to see who is following you that I know, which, is just kind of one way to look at things. And the most I don't want to say famous, but the most stout one, the one that I would have freaked out about would have been Julio Rodriguez. Maybe you don't even know. Maybe your Instagram is so popular that you don't realize that. All due respect to Julio. But if it wasn't him, who was the person that when they followed you on Instagram, you were like, holy crap, like my life is really starting to change a little bit
I don't know. I think I think Jerry Rice followed me on Instagram.
What a humble way to say that, Rom.
And
I think I'm not sure. I think yeah.
Great. And I don't know how much he's on Instagram, but I think he followed me. I mean, his son, I met him at the combine, and he's super, cool as well, BR. So got to meet with him, and he's dope. But yeah, that family seems cool. But no, J-Rod definitely was up there too. Like that's my dog. I became a Mariners fan, when I was in college, because that's the only baseball team I've ever watched. So shout out to J-Rod. They hopefully will go do their thing this season. But J-Rod, that's my dog.
Well, I bring that up because Dane Brugler is one of the best draft analysts in the business, and he recently released. He does this every year. I know you're going to the draft, but he calls it the Beast. It's his draft guide. It's wonderful for this time of year, and it's got all these wonderful things about you because you're this amazing player. And I don't know if you've seen this or if you've ever heard this comp, but when I was reading through your profile, it was so cool because I've always tried to come up with comps. Everybody always does. Or like, who does Rome Odunze remind me of? And Dane noted that you track the ball like a center fielder, and he said like Ken Griffey Jr. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, and such a cool comparison because of the Washington thing and whatever. And I didn't even know that you were a big Mariners fan and everything. That is a really cool way to kind of look at your game, I feel like.
Yeah, no, that's a tremendous comparison. I feel like, if I'm doing anything like Ken Griffey Jr., then I'm doing it well, right? I mean, that's a legend. That's one of the greatest of all time. So, yeah, no, if I'm doing anything like him, then I think I'm probably in a good spot. But I see a little bit of it, a little jump off the wall,
right?
Catch it. Yeah, I see you.
Who do you model yourself after though? Like from an NFL perspective, maybe there is somebody, maybe there isn't somebody.
Right.
I would imagine though there's somebody that you've at least watched a lot to try to study.
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched a lot of Julio, Keenan Allen, and Devontae Adams. All three of those guys I have watched a lot of film of and try and take bits and pieces for sure. If I could say one, I would probably say Devontae Adams, just because I've probably watched the most of his film. I think that we're similar size and a skill set that I'll hope to be able to refine to get to his. I'm not there yet, but definitely think on the higher end of my career I could perform like that.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who covers the Dallas Cowboys, not a big fan of Devontae Adams back in the day. It's just that's
right.
a bit of a tough scene. So thanks for pouring salt on that one. No, I think that's really really well done. And that fits. I mean, nothing is as cool as Ken Griffey Jr. All due respect to Devontae Adams, but Julio is great, and Julio, like you, I think, is capable, obviously played last season, of being that big X-body dude in the red zone, but also can do damage all over the field. Like a lot of receivers that come out get slotted, no pun intended, into one area of the game, but it does feel like you're really, really, really versatile, and I think that that's going to get you drafted higher than most people probably think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, a lot of receivers are quick to say that they're versatile, but I feel like when you turn on my film, you really see it. Like I've played inside, I've played outside, I've had success in both spots. I've blocked, tremendously. I open up lanes, in certain aspects in the run game. So for me, I truly feel like, I am versatile and I really, have shown that on film to a high level.
You're going to be somebody's franchise wide receiver, very, very, very soon, obviously. And so this isn't necessarily something that happens with them. Des Bryant also follows you, I saw, which is super cool for me. And I remember Dez's rookie year, he was first round draft pick, and everybody always has the conversation. Let him return punts. Let him return punts. We want to see the ball in his hands, whatever. And nobody ever wants to let their star wide receivers do it because so much, traffic and action is happening there. And you can't take that. I said, okay, this is a whole new thing, right? This is a whole new play, a whole new opportunity. We have no data to really go off of here. But I look at somebody like Rome Odunze and I said, well, I mean, if I have some sector of blocking happening in front of him, that's not as dangerous as a punt necessarily. I'm curious if maybe you've had conversations about that or at least had internal thoughts like that could be an area that I could contribute that didn't literally exist a year ago.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely unique. And I definitely think, it'd be fun to be a part of, I think initially I would imagine, some of the returners would have a lot of success because I think it's just going to be so much different of a feel for a lot of the defenders that, it's going to allow for the runners to just feel free and kind of, make people miss and go ahead. But no, definitely. I mean, I'm the type of guy I want to, do whatever I can for the team. So if that's what, they decide they want me to do, then I'll go out there and, perform to the best of my ability. But no, I think it's a unique aspect to the game, returning punts or returning kickoffs that I think, I was able to show a little bit of in the seasons prior. So, but, my favorite player is Devin Hester. So I'd love to hopefully, emulate some of that.
Hall of Famer, Devin Hester.
Yeah.
How cool for you if he's your favorite guy and you get to enter the NFL as he's going into the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you that there's a lot of mocks that have you going to Chicago. I mean, that would be sick. And get the whole like Hall of Fame experience, dude. I'm not rooting. My dog's name is Bear, so I kind of root for the Bears in a small way. So if you wind up there, I might have an excuse, not that I didn't already, to get a Rome Odunze jersey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If I go there, you got to have that for sure. 100%.
I'm going to have the jersey, but I'm also going to have the Snickers hand. This is what I'm looking at here is I need you. So this is a video, but I need you to describe what you're doing with Snickers and why it's so important to you, because I'm sure the answer is amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm working with been partnering with Snickers ice cream bar. We're creating an exclusive limited edition holder for the Snickers ice cream bar, just because the most important thing about ice cream is just to make sure it's not falling out of your hand, it's not leaking everywhere. And like we were talking a little bit of my sure-handedness. You guys have seen it on film, so we wanted to create something for the fans, so they're not dropping their Snickers bar. And I got a little thing right here. This shows a little bit of what's going to be like. This is kind of like a perfect replica, a little bit. You can see, I think it's not going anywhere.
It looks like it's his own thing. I don't want to take away from it, but I have a 2-year-old son. It looks like a Hulk hand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it's strength wise, it could be compared. It's very similar for sure, but it just makes sure that you're not dropping your ice cream. So it's limited edition. You can go onto snickers.com/ice cream chiller right now, April 18th to or not right now, April 18th to May 2nd to go
for a chance to win one.
For a chance to get one. And
so the one I'm looking at in the photo and the one you just showed had your signature on it. And this is a really vain question. But again, this is what I think about my life would be if I was Rome Odunze.
Okay.
I would have practiced my signature. Like I in anticipation. Have you ever done that? You can say yes. No one will judge you.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was younger, I used to practice my signature when I was younger.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you gotten like feedback from somebody, like an agent or something? It's like, that's not cool enough, dude. Like you got to have some, and you're not. It has to be fast. So like you have to be able to do it quickly because you're going down a line or something.
Yeah, people have given me feedback. Some people like it, some people don't. I mean, I think it's unique because I've put my entire name on it. In past, like Rome Odunze, and then I have put a number 1 in it in the past. So that was my college signature. I'm kind of switch up the game a little bit to represent different phases of my football career. So but I think it's a unique one for sure.
The collectors will like that. They'll take one look. Now that's Rome's college signature. That's not his NFL signature.
Exactly.
That's not his Hall of Fame signature with his bust next to Devin Hester, obviously. Rome, I'll close with this. My name again is RJ Ochoa, so we have the same initials. I don't meet a lot of ROs, and so you and we park our cars in the same garage.
Brother, appreciate that.
Hey, you and me, Rome. Seriously, good luck. I wish you health, wealth, and happiness. An incredible NFL career. I hope that wherever you go, it will be the right place for you. So best of luck. Enjoy it. It is a once in a lifetime thing. You and your family soak up every single second.
Thank you. We'll do, RJ. Appreciate it, man.
Big thanks to Rome Odunze for joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. I told you, a very rootable player when it comes to the NFL draft. The NBA play-in concludes tonight, but the NBA playoffs begin in earnest tomorrow. We're going to run through the schedule on the other side. Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation. Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card? Uh-huh. Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase. Really? Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Sadly, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 women in the U.S. will encounter physical abuse from an intimate partner, and violence against children persist. Christie's Hope strives to overcome domestic violence by providing critical financial support to shelters that offer housing, healing, and preventative measures. Thomas J. Henry proudly collaborates with Christie's Hope in the shared mission to end domestic violence and empower victims. Join us in building a legacy of hope. Donate today at christieshope.org.
I love springtime. The sunshine, the longer days, but I don't love stressing about outfits for all of our plans. Between brunches, showers, and spring break, we need looks that keep up and savings that keep it under budget. That's where Kohl's comes in. I scored 25% off dresses for myself. And with the 50% off going on, I got my daughter a dress for under $22. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. So if you want a stress-free spring too, shop at Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Women's dresses, coupons do not apply. Offers end April 21st. See store or Kohls.com for details.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Yo, welcome back. The Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks to Romo Dunze and the Snickers for the time. Very, very, very fun interview. Rooting for him next week. He'll be very busy a week from today, as he is probably going to be unveiled to his new team after being taken in the first round of the NFL draft. But between now and then, we have a lot of playoff action going on. In the NBA tonight, we have the final 2 games of the play-in. Here's your schedule in case you're wondering how and when to watch. We've got the Bulls visiting the Heat at 6 o'clock. That game's on ESPN. The Kings visiting the Pelicans tonight at 8:30. That is on TNT and True TV. And then tomorrow, you can wake up, you can go eat some breakfast, you can get a cup of coffee, and then you can basically sit down and relax if you sleep in on a Saturday. If you're up early, you got to wait a little bit. But the games get started at noon. The Magic visiting the Cavs. The first 3 games tomorrow, all on ESPN, so you can set your channel and not really move things. We've got Cavs hosting the Magic at 2:30. My Phoenix Suns visiting Rob's Timberwolves. It's at 2:30 in Minnesota. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then if that's not enough for you, I mean, look, tomorrow's going to be a great day. We've got the Sixers visiting the Knicks after successfully surviving in the first round of the play-in themselves. The Sixers and Knicks will tip off at 5 tomorrow, once again on ESPN. And then tomorrow night, not quite a nightcap, but it is the final game of the day. The Lakers, who don't apparently, according to LeBron James, feel intimidated by the fact that they've lost 8 in a row to the Nuggets. They will tip off at 7:30. That game's not on ESPN, but on ABC. And then on Sunday, I got to wait a little bit longer. We've got, I'm sorry, not a little bit longer. We've got at noon. We just don't know who it's going to be yet. We'll find out tonight. Either the Heat or the Bulls will be visiting the Boston Celtics. That game's on ABC. At all the games Sunday on ABC. So you really can just set your channel and leave it alone. At 2:30, the Mavs and Clippers. That's going to be a great game. Later in the day at 6 o'clock, the Pacers visiting my Bucks. I'm very excited to see what the Giannis-less Bucks look like. Although the Bucks Twitter account was playing around with that. I don't know what they're doing here. But and then finally, Sunday night, whoever wins the second play-in game tonight between Sacramento and New Orleans will visit the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for all of the playoff basketball action. Victor Wembanyama hung out with the Ringers' Kevin O'Connor this week or lately and talked about a variety of things. We're going to get into some things that Wemby said about his teammates, both current and future maybe, on the other side of this in Silver and Black. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com.
Puro San Antonio football returns to the Alamo Dome this Saturday night as the San Antonio Brahmas play host to the Michigan Panthers. Pack the Dome for a 6 p.m. kickoff. Follow the Brahmas social channels for a link to get your Brahmas Fiesta medal with your tickets. Experience the excitement. Buy your tickets now at theufl.com. Come watch Coach Wade Phillips lead the Brahmas to take on the Michigan Panthers Saturday night at 6 in the Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
Calling all children ages 8 to 16. HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing you on May 4th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at East Central High School in San Antonio. You can do skills and drills just like the pros. Register for your chance to participate at dallascowboys.com/HEB. Camp is limited to 150 athletes per session, so sign up today. Purchase not required to register. Parents must be 18 years of age or older and a Texas resident. The promotion ends April 25th. For official rules and important details, visit dallascowboys.com/HEB.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home. For all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. And 61, visit staples.com/print for details.
What's the room again?
1240 down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
Spurs forward Zach Collins underwent an MRI that confirmed a torn labrum in his shoulder, suffered in the season finale. He'll undergo surgery and is expected to be fully recovered for the start of next season. The NBA's play-in tournament concludes tonight. We've got some massive games to pay attention to. Also, the Houston Astros visiting the Washington Nationals. Justin Verlander set to be on the bump. The Texas Rangers will visit the Atlanta Braves. Listen to the 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
It's knocked away by Wembanyama. This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Huddle up. Welcome one and all to the greatest show of them all. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We hope you are each having a delightful day. Hope your Friday's off to a wonderful start. If it is, we're going to do our best to keep that momentum going. If it isn't, we're going to do our best to put our foot in the ground and stop what's going on and turn this ship all the way around. I'm RJ Ochoa. No Rob Thompson today, playing a bit of hooky. The eclectic Joe Reinagle is scheduled to join us in about an hour. That is what the forecast calls for, a Joe Reinagle appearance at about 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're already 1 quarter from Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze earlier on. You can go back and listen to anything that we talk about in the ABS Bail Bonds audio vault at sasportstar.com. You can go check that out. In this hour, we're about to talk Spurs and more specifically talk Wemby and everything that he talked about. In about 30 minutes, Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live are going to join me to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who a week from today, unless they trade out, will have a brand new first-round player As mentioned, in about an hour, Joe Reinagle will be here. And in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll play another interview for you. Yesterday, I was able to sit down with both Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor to talk about this really creative and important campaign that they're a part of with Rocket Mortgage, and also touched on the Cowboys with Joy Taylor. She has a bit of a reputation for having some passionate thoughts on that subject. Also touched on Victor Wembanyama with Taylor Rooks and her previous conversation with Trae Young and how she thinks they could potentially work and operate as teammates if that were to ultimately unfold in reality. But that's some time from now. Here in the here and now, we're going to talk about Wemby and what he has to say, or what he had to say to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer. If you didn't know this, if you somehow missed or you're somehow unaware, Wemby did this massive sit down with The Ringer, and Kevin O'Connor, KOC, does such a great job at covering the NBA, one of the best in the business when it comes to NBA coverage, both, obviously the current association and the draft, the overall process. Cannot give him a more prominent enough seal of approval. So he sat down with Wemby and they talked about this, that, and the other. You can watch it on the Ringer's YouTube channel, or you can listen to it on the Ringer NBA Draft Show. But Wemby, he touched on, basketball. He touched on I won't say his personal life, but he touched on, a couple of different things, as we have learned over the last year. Wemby is a very unique person, and he is somebody who is going to, in all likelihood, take the Spurs to the highest of highs when his career is all said and done. But this season, hopefully, was the lowest of lows that he will experience. And on the subject of that, he was asked by KOC what the lowest point was. And I think that that's a really interesting question in and of itself, but we would all probably have a different answer. Here's what Wemby had to say on that front.
The lowest point? I mean, I would say very simply it's the long losing streak, because it was, there was a couple close games that we should have won. We could have, but we should have won them. And it's just, at some point you need to, there's so many shifts in, energy, because one moment you're so motivated to win, the group is so motivated to win and to finally end the streak, and then it's like, oh, we lose again. So, but I'm glad that nobody collapsed under this, or nobody, starting being bad for the group, or being selfish. So I'm glad we stuck together and we got over it, but it was definitely a tough point.
So I'm not trying to be that guy, but there were several losing streaks to pick from. My estimation is the one that Wemby is referring to is the 18-game losing streak. And to kind of walk you down memory lane, because it feels like so long ago, and we're going to do our best to kind of forget this after Wemby's won a million titles. This began on Sunday, November the 5th. Remember the 5th of November. That's what V for Vendetta taught us. Also, November 5th, 1955 was the day that the Doc invented time travel. Marty went back in time to it. So November 5th, also infamous in this capacity. Spurs lost an overtime game at home against Toronto. That was the only home game sandwiched in between a 6-game stretch that otherwise included 5 road contests. So the Spurs dropped that one, lost by 7, 123-116 to the Raptors in overtime on that Sunday. And it started off a run that we do not want to remember. Speckled Truth says, in brutal transparency, I thought Wemby was overhyped and going to be a bust. Glad I was wrong. I'm glad that you were wrong, too. I don't know that anybody agreed with that. No offense to you, Speckled Truth, but I think we all were afraid to dream. I think we were all afraid to believe that he could actually be that good. And this losing streak was kind of, it fed that insecurity. And at the time, the Spurs were coming off. I mean, this was the beginning of the season. They were 3-2. They just won those back-to-back games at Phoenix. So they lose this game against Toronto and then lose at Indiana, lose against the Knicks. I mean, there's a 117-110 loss to Minnesota in there, a 118. They got blown out in one of the in-season tournament games at Oklahoma City, 123-87. I mean, and that was just the beginning of this whole thing. They kept going. They got blown out by the Clippers in the first game in it wasn't a back-to-back, but first game in back-to-back games against LA. They lost every in-season tournament game. If you did put stock into those, they lost a kind of close one in Denver. They lost a close one at home to the Hawks on November 30th, 137-135, the final score there. I mean, this was long and arduous, this whole thing. The Spurs lost 18 games in a row. It started on Sunday, November 5th. The streak was broken on Friday, December the 15th, with a 129-115 win at home against the Lakers. The Spurs would lose 5 in a row right after that. So I don't blame Wemby, certainly, for feeling like that was the lowest point of his season. And everything I just ripped through there, wasn't a lot of numbers, but it's a lot of information. And to kind of piggyback off of what Speckle Truth said, I thought Wemby was overhyped and going to be a bust. Glad I was wrong. I don't think it's possible for him to be a bust at this point because he's too smart. And that is such a powerful tool in his repertoire. I think we've really learned that. We have heard all sorts of stats, all sorts of impossible, statistics and data points and this, that, and the other. The Wemby that we've, come up with, the 5x5. I mean, he has broken, the model that tracks so much information. And what is really cool about that is he apparently likes that. Wemby, according to him, he loves analytics.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. This is something I'm very interested in. I love these, what they call, like graphics. Like, I don't even know the word. Like graphics. I love stats. I love percentages. I'm really into that.
Okay, so you like seeing what, like, that helps you understand your own game.
Yeah, Pop showed me something. I remember before the Toronto game and before some other games as well. I can't remember when. But yeah, I have seen some of those.
I am a big data person. I love information and I love statistics. And it's, people say that numbers lie, whatever, the adage is. And it's true that you can find numbers to support just about any claim that you want. But it's important to apply context to those numbers and use them, not in a completely, totally storytelling sort of way, but in a way that helps you learn in an introspective sort of way. And I trust that Wemby is certainly in that kind of camp where he can take data and he can learn from it and not come to a wide sweeping conclusion about it. So that was very, very, very cool. Also cool from this, there was a lot here. Now, before we get to the Pop stuff, that's one level of coolness. I am not as big of a fan of Wemby, running point as a lot of people. And some of that is just, that's my non-data. So the non-data side of my brain is just being too simplistic. And, he's so tall, he's so large, he's so wide, just let him be that. Plus there's the turnovers, right? We've seen that happen a million different times so far. That's, one of the bigger flaws in his game if he has one. But he is clearly passionate about wanting to run point and wanting to be the one. And I don't think that that's changing anytime soon.
And I think it's the future of the game. So you see that even Giannis, this is really the usage of all the weapons, and it's working. So I think I'm glad we started early on to do that, but I'm sure it's also the future. Yeah.
It's hard to disagree with him. It really is. And I mean, who would I even be to disagree with Victor Wembanyama, obviously? And there are not a lot of human beings on this earth. And it's crazy when you put it in terms like that, but there are not a lot of human beings that are capable of doing what he's doing. Now, we can talk about and we can quibble about. I don't even know that it's quibbling because it's fair. The turnovers. I mean, he's had again a ton of them over the course of his short career so far. And that's something that has to change, right? That's something that has to be better. They have to absolutely tighten that up. He can't just be this turnover machine that we've seen. In fact, as we look at his game log here in the win last week against the Nuggets, last Friday night. But before, so he had 9 a couple of games back in the loss against Philadelphia. And outside of that, he kind of tightened up for a while. There was a stretch where was just, every night was 5, 6, 7 turnovers. And so that is the risk, I think. There is there are a lot of pros to be gained with having Wemby run the point and having the ball just kind of flow and facilitate through him constantly. And ultimately, if we decide and the Spurs decide that that's in the best interest of the team, they want to live and die by that sword, then so be it. But if he wants to do it, I think that that's probably the ultimate, kind of ace card. But, how Pop feels as well clearly matters. And this was maybe the best part of the interview. Wemby was talking about Pop and, how he felt about Pop. And it was very cool. He was asked about his favorite part about being coached by Pop. And, well, I mean, what an answer.
Favorite part, like the accountability. Doesn't care who you are and, whoever, you're a vet, you're a rookie, he's going to treat you the same and tell you when you mess up.
Stuff like that sounds like sports cliche, right? Stuff like that sounds like, oh man, that's just, it sounds fake, right? It sounds fake that somebody would actually be that way, but there are so few sports figures like Pop. That so few people that have the, resume, whatever you want to call it, to be able to hold people like Wemby accountable, to say you're clearly the most important person in this organization by a wide margin, and we're still going to hold you accountable. And I really respect that Wemby is willing to go on record and saying that. That says a lot about him. Frank says in the Brigade Bar, that's the only way you get better is by making mistakes. That's pretty much what accountability is. I mean, so very cool. Now, holding someone accountable can be something you do in a loving way. It can also be something you do in a, we'll call it, harsh manner. Wemby was, in talking about Pop, he expressed that he was kind of surprised that Pop was not so bristly.
I'd say easier because I would think before meeting him, I would have thought he was like more of an not, but he's actually very fair, and what we hear of Popovich, growing up, it's like like crazy coach and super super great coach, of course, and he's actually pretty fair, not there's some unfair coaches, but he's fair.
I think that's, when you are as large of a figure as Pop, when you've had as much success as he has, and some of that success turns into its own sort of thing, right? You think of, obviously, Pop and Belichick are pretty comparable in that sense, and there's this persona, this Darth Vader-ness that kind of is built around what is actually happening because it's convenient from a storytelling standpoint, from a narrative standpoint. And I agree with Cougs, for what it's worth, in the Brigade Bar. It says Wemby met Grandpa Pop, completely different person. That's true, but still, same dude in a lot of ways. But definitely, it's interesting how time always kind of works itself out, and that this might be the version of Pop that Wemby needed the most. Wemby in this gentle sort of manner himself. I'm not saying he couldn't or wouldn't have thrived with a more bristly version of Pop, the Pop that we've seen in the past many different times, but it feels really fortuitous the way the stars kind of aligned at this moment in time for Wemby, for Pop, for everything around them to kind of set the foundation for what is to come throughout the course of Wemby's career. But kind of funny. I mean, it's always, just a funny little line. And I think, by the way, this answer is a reflection of how relaxed Wemby was in this interview. It was really, really, really great. I cannot encourage you enough to watch the entire thing. But the real good stuff, the juice that we were after, was what happens next, right? I mean, we're all, very happy and pleased with who Wemby is and who he's become, and very excited for the future. But what is that future? What does that look like? What is the future going to have in store for the Spurs? Who is going to be a part of that future with Wemby? He discussed his expectations for the months to come and what he sees the Spurs doing around him.
My expectations are, I trust the front office and the coach. But the truth is, I don't know. I've learned a lot this year, and we've gotten so much better from day one to 82nd game. But I don't know, and I'm sure like the coaches will let me know what are the the new way, the new roads of progression, we want to take. But I don't know. This is the only team I've ever known.
What a that was a little bit more political, right? Like if we look at, his answer about Pop and how loose he was, all of a sudden it turned into, I got to say the right things, I got to toe the company line, I got to, be careful not to get myself or my team in trouble. It's true that this is the only team he's ever known. It's true that the Spurs changed significantly over the course of the season from game 1 through 82, as he mentioned. But it's also true that some of what we saw at game 1 didn't change, right? Like Wemby changed and became even more than we ever could have possibly imagined. But that means that the work around him has to change. And that means that the roster around him has to change. That means they have to find players to properly, suit this whole thing. And, all due respect to the players who comprise the roster for this past season, they just do not have the horses in tow at the moment. Now, how the Spurs retool the roster obviously remains to be seen. We expect them to be active, in the draft, and we'll see what happens with the Toronto pick. But, there's a lot of people, myself included, who want to see them be aggressive in pursuing a player, who want to see them be aggressive in pursuing an all-star. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Fine, whatever. But the Spurs are going to have to bring in some veteran help. And there's no question that veterans around the league have taken notice of who he is and what his capabilities are and what his potential is. And they're tired of kind of getting destroyed by him, and they might want to start teaming up. And Wemby was asked if he has had anybody tell him, like, hey, what's going on there in San Antonio? You guys have room for me on the roster.
Yeah, I've received some messages, even from prospects, but I try to stay in my role, and but it's a whole new world and that I'm eager to discover. But for sure, one day or the other, I have to be involved in this, I guess, even though I'm staying my role as a player.
So first things first, while I appreciate the transparency, Wemby, maybe chill out. Maybe don't open any sort of tampering, stuff. Don't open up an investigation saying this, that, or the other. I think he, threw out a wide enough blanket saying I've received some messages, but be cool, man. Don't let anybody know what's going on. Just keep certain cards close to the vest. Our thanks again to the Ringer and to Kevin O'Connor. This was a wonderful interview that you should absolutely go listen to in its entirety. These were kind of the high points from it. And the summer of Wemby is just beginning, right? I mean, Wemby kind of is at the epicenter of everything that we're going to care about from a basketball standpoint for a very, very, very long time. But this is the most critical summer of the Spurs as a franchise it's certainly in a very long time, but maybe if ever, because they're now entering this new window, this new opportunity. They're trying to recreate their dynasty in a whole different sort of way, or extend their dynasty, if you want to look at it that way, I suppose. And so they've got to get to work, and that obviously includes, Wemby at the forefront of it all, but that includes a lot of people around him, whether they're the ones sending him messages or not. He's got the Olympics going on that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to. And he maybe has some level of recruitment to kind of take care of, whether that's happening behind closed doors or not, whether that's happening in a way that he isn't publicly disclosing. But he mentioned it. This is a different world. He is now the center of an NBA franchise. He is now one of the 5 at the largest, most prominent people in the NBA as a whole. So it goes without saying that he's going to have to kind of do some things and be put in some positions that he probably never really gave serious thought to in his life. He's obviously been a professional forever, but he's so young. He's so young and raw in just life, in adulthood, in corporate America, if you want to call it that. And so it's exciting to consider the opportunities that are in front of him, but they're obviously incredibly important and have to be seriousness. My favorite thing that Wemby said throughout the course of the whole thing was probably just, I appreciated his humility. I appreciate, though, more than anything, his sort of zest for knowledge, his zest for improvement. it's very clear that while he is raw and new at all of this, that he has dreamed about it. He has dreamed about, kind of living this life. And I appreciate how studied and how interested he is. He talked obviously about the data and the analytics and the graphs that Pop showed him. I love that he is just kind of this basketball nerd, and he's obsessed with improving himself and improving his game and becoming the best version possible of who he can be. And that ripple effect and how it's going to impact the Spurs is what we're all obviously incredibly fascinated by and what we're rooting for over the course of the coming months and really the coming years. Wemby is going to change San Antonio. Coog says he's a very polished 20-year-old. There are not a lot of people to that point like this, let alone, people who are just so young. There's a lot of wisdom in Wemby, which I know for myself didn't exist in my 20-year-old brain. And so very, very fascinating. Once again, you can listen to Silver and Black every day in our audio vault. It is our podcast that we put up, so make sure to check out sasportsstart.com, the AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault. Look, I mean, this is when things are going to start to get a little bit more serious with the Spurs in a way that they haven't in a very long time. And I know that we're getting sick and tired of hearing that because it sounds old and tired. But the reality is that we're in a new frontier. We're in some unconquered land, even if it has been conquered in a literal sense before. These are uncharted waters. And if there's any captain of the boat that I would feel comfortable sailing behind, it is Victor Wembanyama. The Dallas Cowboys, a week from today, should have a brand new player, should have a first-round draft pick. Whether that's somebody they take with the 24th overall pick or not remains to be seen. They could trade back. I'd be stunned if they traded up. But they should seemingly, theoretically, have a number of options throughout the course of next Thursday night's first round. We'll obviously talk about it in the lead-up to that. But right now, we're going to talk about it with my very good friend. Joseph Hoyt covers the Cowboys for Texas Lone Star Live, friend of the show. He's been on before. He's going to be on right now. Very interested to talk to Joseph about kind of his thoughts and his temperature. He's a really positive person. And so while there's a lot of the sky is falling energy around the Cowboys right now, Joseph does a good job of kind of reeling that in all the time. So he'll join us in just a moment to kind of set the table, because the Cowboys are finally going to have to show their cards the way that we told Wemby to be cool with his. They have done I wouldn't say a great job, but they've done a job of keeping them close to their vest this entire offseason. But they're finally going to have to make a move. The Dallas Cowboys are. What will that move be? Joseph Hoyt will tell us next. Don't go anywhere, or else we will be very, very sad. You're listening to the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right, or it's printed again, free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. And 6-1, visit staples.com/print for details.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that?
Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Puro San Antonio football returns to the Alamo Dome this Saturday night as the San Antonio Brahmas play host to the Michigan Panthers. Pack the Dome for a 6 p.m. kickoff. Follow the Brahmas social channels for a link to get your Brahmas Fiesta medal with your tickets. Experience the excitement. Buy your tickets now at theufl.com. Come watch Coach Wade Phillips lead the Brahmas to take on the Michigan Panthers Saturday night at 6 in the Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you are a family member and needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
94.1 FM. You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
Welcome in. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Marjo Ochoa, Rob Thompson out today playing hooky out at Fiesta. Lots of fun stuff happening. It's a fun time of the year, and that is evidenced by all the sporting action going on. The NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs beginning in earnest tomorrow. Next week offers just a ton of hope for every NFL fan base. But with the NFL draft beginning, Dallas Cowboys fans certainly in need of some hope, perhaps some cope. But with how this offseason has gone, cannot wait to talk about it with my good friend Joseph Hoyt, covers the Cowboys for Texas Lone Star Live. Great job on the local beat. Joseph, good morning and happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday, RJ. Good to talk with you, man.
I'm very curious because you are, I'll just be blunt, you're a lot more positive than I am right now. If you had to kind of grade the vibe of the Cowboys on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being, hunky-dory, sunshine, rainbows, 1 being doom and gloom, the utter bowels of the darkest recesses of the world, where do you think things are at the Friday before the draft?
See, that's a great question, RJ, and I hate to be that guy that plugs his podcast, but I think it's relevant because on our podcast, Cloudy, who's a lifelong friend of mine, who's a diehard Cowboys fan. And the reason I bring that up, though, is it gives me a good sense of what exactly is on a Cowboys fan's mind. I think 1 to 10, it's pretty low on that scale from a Cowboys fan perspective. Probably we're talking below 5 for sure in terms of just morale right now. Because to your point, there's just been a lot of, and I know you've talked about this ad nauseum probably too. There's just been a lot of expectations not met that they've kind of supplied on their own. And I think even Cowboys fans have kind of gotten used to like, okay, hey, maybe we won't make the big swing in free agency this year. When you say all in, maybe this will be the time. Obviously, that didn't happen. They've lost 10 free agents. They've signed 2 external free agents. The last one being Royce Freeman, who I think actually has some benefit as a short yardage back potentially, but it's also a guy that's not going to be your feature back coming in. So I think going into this, morale is a little bit low, but I still think there's a chance for hope and some aspirations for it based on what they do in the draft. If they are able to come away with some guys that end up filling some of the holes that they now have, seemingly more holes than we thought they'd have going into the draft, including maybe a feature running back, maybe early on in day 2 or something like that, then I think that there will be a little bit more hope for Cowboys fans. But to your point, I don't think the 1 through 10 morale is as high as many would have hoped going into the week before the draft.
Well, it's probably higher after that Royce Freeman positivity that you offered. There's not a lot of people who are, getting pumped about it. So I think we certainly appreciate that. How about that podcast, by the way? I'm glad you plugged it. I planned on doing it, so thank you for doing my job for me. Recently launched. Well, it was like 3 weeks ago, right? That you first dropped it.
Yeah, just dropped it. And then it's been going well. It's been fun. I think it's fun to do that. I think it's good sometimes as reporters, honestly, to get a sense for fans, what they're really, really thinking. And my co-host Danny does a good job of really giving me that perspective.
No, that's well said. Okay, so we kind of agree that 5 out of 10-ish is the general temperature. And you're right. I mean, the all-in comment was, I understand the way it's been kind of discussed and chronicled, but it was always silly, and it's just become an annoyance, at least for me, and I'm certain for you, in terms of just seeing it and the kind of memeing of it all. But this is a team, and you said it, that doesn't partake in free agency, and that is very par for the course. However, this is a team that generally also lands the plane on their first-round draft picks, and that's why I think the last potential flashpoint is less than a week from today. Next Thursday night. What is the way that you think this thing can go in the first round to where the people who are 5 out of 10 can say, all right, you know what? I'm a little bit back. I'm ready to, you had me, really spooked and really frustrated, but I didn't see the plan. What you did in the first round went very, very, very well. What has to happen in your estimation for people to kind of get a little bit more buy-in in terms of their own emotional withstanding with this team?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because I think the draft, especially that first night, is very funny because we have, it's a bunch of people celebrating about picks that don't work out, or it's people mad about picks that happen that end up becoming all pros. I don't think everyone was super thrilled with the Tyler Smith pick a couple of years ago. Now we're talking about him as, a future gold jacket guy at left guard, right? So I think it's interesting. I think one thing that, in terms of what could be a catalyst for hope for Cowboys fans, I think it's if the Cowboys handle the draft well, quote unquote. And I think that's one of those things where, okay, maybe if a guy falls to 24, and we're talking falling, we're talking theoretically in terms of draft evaluations right now. But if a guy falls to 24 that, everyone considered very talented, maybe it's, it's like a guy like Talisi Fuanga or Olu Fashanu, some an offensive tackle, people didn't expect to be there, that's there. And you can get them there. Awesome. Perfect. I think that that's something Cowboys fans would be like, oh, hey, we handled that well. We got our guy. Cool. I think if they trade back, get more picks, and are still able to get someone like, an offensive tackle they really, really like, or another impact player, if Brian Thomas falls to them and they could have aspirations of CeeDee Lamb, Brian Thomas, and Brandon Cooks next season, I think that would add some excitement. Even though, is that the biggest need? Probably not. So I think those are kind of revenues streams for excitement for Cowboys fans. How did the Cowboys handle it? I think one thing that's worth noting too, kind of on the heels of the all-in comments, is okay. At least the Cowboys have drafted well. That's kind of been something we've looked at, we've talked about over the years. But to take a little more, objective page, I think that there's also this hey, can you make sure that last year was an anomaly, not a trend?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The Mozzie Smith pick hasn't aged well. None of their picks have. I mean, their best rookie last year, as you know, was Brandon Aubrey, who was never really playing football and obviously wasn't a part of the draft class. Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live joining us here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Very good friend of mine, does an incredible job covering the Cowboys. And so, Joseph, if we kind of fast forward, we through the whole draft, not just Thursday night, we talked about kind of the positive end of the spectrum. How do they reel people back in? What is the kerosene on top of this? Like what is the like, oh my gosh, it could get worse. And I missed the days. I missed last Friday, the 19th, when RJ and Joseph were talking, and it was just really bad. But the whole situation got exacerbated. I can't quite identify what that reality is in my mind, but I'm curious if you can.
I think, RJ, I keep saying great questions because you've got good ones, because this is another good one. But I think that's interesting because I think if you're at 24, right, usually there's not a lot of kerosene potential, let's say. There's not a lot of risk reward, right? Unless, you do something really, really crazy. I think, if we're talking like what would really kind of, make things crazy, I mean, obviously like something out of left field, like a quarterback pick at 24 would be insane. But hey,
Right.
we've seen crazier things. But, I think also the risk and reward for that is a little bit low. But, I think if you take a guy at a position that you didn't think you needed, I think if you took, I think, for example, Jonathan Brooks is fantastic. And I think that he could be a really good pick for the Cowboys at round 2. I know there's interest there. I think if from a fan perspective, if that was the pick at 24, people would be a little confused about, taking a guy coming off an injury at a position like that in the first round. And one of those picks that might end up being really, really good, but kind of, let's say it would have kerosene potential. So I think Cowboys fans are just kind of looking for some excitement and a little bit of sign that, like, oh, hey, the Cowboys handled the draft well. But, I think the funniest thing about the draft, and this, RJ, you never really know what's going to happen until you're on the clock or until things are, moving and shaking. And even in the end of the first round, there's always potential for that too. So personally, I've always been a big draft guy. I'm excited to see how things transpire, and I know that there's a lot of storylines that can come out of it for the Cowboys.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're about to dive in, to just this sea of unknown, and it's going to be exciting to, at least that's what I'm most excited about, is this team finally has to kind of do something and kind of has to show us a direction that they're headed in. And I've been saying all offseason that there's no obvious North Star that they're all kind of, pointed towards. And so we're at the very least going to figure out what that is. Whether we agree or disagree with, their intentions remains to be seen. Joseph, I did want to, give you a chance to provide some clarity on the Dak Prescott situation. You were tweeting about this. I know there was some confusion going on. Could you please walk us through the update that happened in the on the legal side of what's been surrounding Dak Prescott this offseason and where we're at right now?
Yeah, no, it was interesting, and because so I believe 2 nights ago, Tuesday night, maybe Monday night. Sorry, the week I had sinus surgery last week, so the week's a little bit hazy for me. But anyways, we were tipped off that, hey, they ended their lawsuit in Dallas County. The woman accusing Dak Scott of sexual assault. So we look into it and we're like, oh, okay. They definitely, did drop it without prejudice, which means that they could refile at any time. But that's not the whole story. Basically, what all their women's representation was doing, refiling it via counterclaims in Collin County, which had already happened. They happened on April 8th, the decision to drop the lawsuit in Dallas County, and then the decision to counterclaim in Collin County happened on April 8th. So they refiled their counterclaims. The representation told me, quote, we're 1,000% pursuing this. So it went kind of viral that the case was dropped, but not the fact that it's still being fought in Collin County. So all the news here, to give a TLDR, is that it's a legal maneuver. It's a footnote in this case. It's it's obviously a dueling civil case. It's a high profile case. It's not like a bombshell thing, though some people kind of ran with the first part of it and made it seem like that. So all it is that the battle, the civil case battle, is now moving to Collin County only, rather than Collin County, which is having it in Dallas County as well.
We appreciate you sticking to the facts and the matter. Now you were doing you were doing your best to kind of like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man meme holding the subway. Like, wait a minute, like this isn't exactly what you think it is. So great job on that front. Last one, to give you a chance to kind of call your shot. This time next week, who's the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys as of a night ago?
Oh, wow, that's a great question because I think we've already kind of talked about too. At 24, there's just so much room in the draft for crazy things to happen. Hey, whether the Cowboys are going to take Johnny Manziel, at the end of the first round. Those things kind of randomly matriculate. Those storylines as the draft night goes on. It's a long night, so I think as things currently stand, the big question is whether or not they're going to move Tyler Smith to left tackle or not, and I think that's something that's going to be decided, pretty early on in this draft process. But for calling my shot, I'm just going to go with another Oregon guy. Give me Jackson Powers Johnson. I went to Oregon.
I'm down.
I think Jackson Powers Johnson. Yeah, center for the next 10 years, media darling, personality guy. So let's just have fun. Let's say JPJ to the Cowboys.
Well done. I didn't know you were from Oregon. So you and me, Multnomah Falls. We'll meet there and we'll break bread sometime.
Let's do it.
Joseph Hoyt from Texas Lone Star Live. Thanks so much for hanging out. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon enough.
All right, take care, RJ.
That was Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live. Very good friend of mine. Shout out to Oregon. Shout out to Multnomah Falls. My wife and I went there 6 years ago this summer, I believe. It was a great time. We are about 15 minutes away from Joe Reinagle getting set to join us, but between now and then, we're going to talk not about the Cowboys, but about one of their current rivals and how he may be on the way out of the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about A.J. Brown and maybe the New England Patriots next on the Morning Huddle.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we got the NBA play-in tournament going on tonight. We'll get you ready for that. Plus, we're less than a week away from the NFL draft. We'll talk some Cowboys football with John Machota from The Athletic at 4:35. And, RJ Ochoa from the Morning Huddle. He'll join me at 3 o'clock.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
We used to fight chickens in Oklahoma until they got busted up by the cops.
Grown people fighting chickens?
Yeah.
You don't fight the chickens yourself. You let the chickens fight each other.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say, it's kind of off balance a little bit.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the final days of Diamonds Direct Spring Sale. This is your last chance to get 20% off store-wide. Plus, book an appointment and you'll get an additional $100 off your purchase. You don't want to miss this. 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. And a huge selection of the latest styles with in-store designer appearances. 20% off ends this Sunday. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get Like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line. Does it have to be family? It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plan starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is Jim Rome joining me this noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
Hello. Happy Friday. Hope your day is off to a delightful start and the delightful things are around the bend for you. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. T-minus 10 minutes until Joe Reinagel is here to party. He was partying on Thursday night, according to Instagram. So we'll have to get his thoughts on exactly what happened. I'll also join Joe later on today on the Blitz from 3 to 4. I'm doing this show mostly Han style. He's doing that show mostly Han style. We're working our way to the weekend. Then we're going to have a good time in the aftermath of it all. I don't know if anybody saw this on Thursday, kind of percolating in the air. Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown stirred up a bit of a tizzy, caused a bit of a tizzy. Here's the sequence of events. So A.J. Brown changed his Instagram profile picture. Might have been Instagram and Twitter, but it was at the very least Instagram. And he changed it to a photo of Tom Brady. Okay, it's a little interesting, right? You know, a lot of people have different things as their profile picture, but whatever. So the immediate takeaways and questions and wonders are, why are you doing this? Or do you want to play for the Patriots, AJ Brown? What's going on? You currently play for the Eagles. What's happening here? AJ had to tweet about this and issue a bit of a statement. He said, TB12 is my favorite player ever. I watched the Dynasty and it brought back some memories from my childhood. Go look up what he did in 2015 when he was doubted / disrespected. Yeah, I see the disrespect. Motivated. Yes, that's it. So some context here. If you didn't know, The Dynasty is the Apple TV documentary about, well, the Patriots dynasty. I've seen a few episodes of it. I haven't finished it yet. It's definitely on the list. I did finally finish Drive to Survive, but it makes sense that if you were AJ Brown and watching that and you were a fan of Tom Brady growing up, that it was thing that he's referencing, this was almost 10 years ago. So in case you forgot, the New England Patriots won Super Bowl 49 following the 2014 season. That was the Dez caught it playoff run, and they lost obviously to the Packers. And then the Packers, led by Mike McCarthy, collapsed in the NFC Championship game. And then Russell Wilson threw the pick to Malcolm Butler down near the goal line in Super Bowl 49. And the Patriots, they won at the time their fourth title, and that was Tom Brady getting his first ever since their original dynasty. And we didn't realize it at the time that it launched an entirely different dynasty or a different section of the dynasty. Additionally, we didn't realize it would launch an NFL investigation where we would learn about scientific properties, about deflation and inflation and, whatever gas laws and things like that. The Deflategate controversy followed that Super Bowl, or was in the middle of that and then followed. And that was the offseason in 2015, 9 years ago, when Roger Goodell was trying to suspend Tom Brady over and over and over again. And Tom Brady ultimately fought it off for a bit. But, when he got his opportunity, was on absolute fire in 2015. So that's what A.J. Brown's talking about, being doubted and disrespected. So, okay, that's the A.J. Brown side of things. But then Albert Breer of SI noted on Thursday in an interview with NBC Sports Boston that teams are calling the Eagles about A.J. Brown. The quote, Philadelphia has gotten inquiries on A.J. Brown, and they have shut them all down and told other teams he is not available. Now, Breer has a long history in the Boston market, and he specifically noted that New England is a team that is interested in A.J. Brown. And so if that is obviously a team that A.J. rooted for, you could totally see a world where maybe they trade for him. A.J. Brown was originally traded for during the NFL draft 2 years ago from Tennessee to Philadelphia. Could it all go full circle and send him to New England this week? I don't know. I really don't. We don't know anything. Joe Reinagle might know. He might have the answers to this, that, and the third. He is going to join us for an hour in about 5 minutes. Do not touch that dial. Joe Reinagle joins me next here on the Morning Huddle. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies.
I love springtime. The sunshine, the longer days, but I don't love stressing about outfits for all of our plans. Between brunches, showers, and spring break, we need looks that keep up and savings that keep it under budget. That's where Kohl's comes in. I scored 25% off dresses for myself, and with the 15% off going on, I got my daughter a dress for under $22. Plus, I earned Kohl's cash. So if you want a stress-free spring too, shop at Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Women's dresses, coupons do not apply. Offers end April 21st. See store or kohls.com for details.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
One of the preeminent researchers in the field of gratitude, Robert Emmons, writes that grateful people experience higher levels of positive emotions, such as joy and optimism, as well as being protected from the destructive impulses of envy, resentment, greed, and bitterness. So what would your life be like if you experienced and practiced more gratitude? And what impression would your life of gratitude have on others? And here is a bit of encouraging news. You can actually grow in gratitude. And there are two simple words that help us do that. Recognize and acknowledge. Recognize and acknowledge. Gratitude begins with recognition that something good has come into your life. Acknowledgement is recognizing the giver attached to the good gift. In other words, it's about seeing good and saying thank you. It can start with the giver of all good things, God the Father. This is Mark Absher with the MacArthur Park Church of Christ. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level in sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 10 or more select Samsung major appliances. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Get low prices on the materials you need today because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 5/15. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Astros get Justin Verlander back on the bump today. They visit the Washington Nationals and hope to break out of their slump, having been swept by the Atlanta Braves earlier in the week. Speaking of those Braves, the Texas Rangers will visit them later on this evening. Spurs forward Zach Collins having surgery for a torn labrum in his right shoulder. The NBA play-in tournament concludes tonight. What will the NBA playoff field look like? We'll tell you. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Huddle up. It is our numero tres of the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Robbie T out for the day playing hooky, probably sleeping in. He might be up making breakfast for the whole fam. I really doubt it. But Rob is that kind of guy. I'm RJ Ochoa, and in Rob's shoes, so you can tell us what size they are, from the Blitz, known all around the world, it's Joe Reinagle. Joe, happy Friday.
Good morning, RJ. What's going on, my friend?
I just hanging out. I'm enjoying having some presence here now. It's a little bit lonely. We've had some good times. We've had some guests, played a couple of interviews. I'm feeling sprightly, but not as good as you, I think, sitting in front of the Mona Lisa. I already forgot who you told me painted that.
I have no idea who painted. Some guy named James, and I'm sure he's a famous artist. I don't think Pledge has that kind of talent, but I don't know. Some dude named James, but I like it. It's a nice little farmhouse with some flowers. Kind of makes you feel good on a Friday morning. It's not bad. And,
right,
and everybody that's listening, RJ, and watching on YouTube, you're welcome for that.
That's true. So your Friday morning off to a later start than mine, although I did see you active on Instagram earlier, about 30 minutes ago. I'm just going to guess based on what I saw, and I saw it last night as well, that you had a bit of a late night. I don't know. Maybe that's an incorrect assumption.
It wasn't so late, honestly. I went to Taste of the North Side last night. Obviously, we did the Blitz there yesterday from 2 to 6. But it's a great event. It kind of kicks off Fiesta, a lot of food, a lot of drink, a lot of people having a good time. So I got home about 10 o'clock, man, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay. Well, last time I spoke to you as well here on the Morning Huddle, you did get home late, having driven home from, I think it was Wimberley, or no, it was
Curve.
Right,
to,
Fredericksburg. That's what I was thinking of.
Uh-huh.
And you'd had a really unfortunate Whataburger incident. So I trust you had a solid dinner outing last night.
Well, yeah, the food was fantastic at Taste of the North Side. I mean, what's great about it is it's like a food tasting event. There's like 20 or so, even maybe more than that. But yeah, just different kinds of foods. You go by and sample each and every one of them, and yeah, it's outstanding. Good stuff.
Well done. So
yeah,
this Wemby interview that's kind of making the rounds.
Yeah,
this was pretty cool. I mean, I gotta say, like, he might be the most interesting human being who's been a part of the Spurs in a very long time.
Part of the NBA in a long time. I'd throw
That's
the whole
true.
thing in the league. I mean, this guy is like what was that commercial with the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world?
Right.
Yeah, that's Wemby. He's so much more mature than his age, and that's really it's really interesting.
He's a fascinating individual. He happens to be one of the best basketball players in the world. So that he's in the middle of this weird kind of sector of it all makes for a fun ticket to kind of watch. My biggest takeaway from everything that he said, and we played a ton of it already today, I know you guys got into it and stuff, is how obsessed with himself, not himself, but like with basketball he is. Like how into data and information and things. Like this isn't, I don't want to say it's not just a job to him, but like this is like his life. Like this, he's like been born. You know, he's like a robot. Like he was born to conquer all NBA frontiers.
You know, Jason and I were talking about this yesterday, RJ, and it's Wemby, but it's really a lot of the European players these days. I mean, it's a different attitude. And I don't want to, pick on or get onto American players, but I think you kind of see a trend now that European players start their careers in their early teens and they're playing against grown men and the attitude is a little bit different. You see American players more entitled, more coddled, if you will, and you're seeing a difference. Look, I don't know what the NBA, the percentages is, but it's got to be getting close to 50-50 when it comes to American players and European players. And I think there's a reason for that. The European players are taking over the NBA, certainly. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think Americans and American players and up-and-comers ought to take notice of that and maybe do a little more of what they're doing to get yourself ready for the NBA life.
I think that's a really deep thought. So kudos to you. Because what was the thing about Luka when he was coming out? I was like, oh man, he's played forever for Real Madrid. Like he's going to be completely and totally ready, not just for the game, but for a professional lifestyle, right? We look at one of the dudes who cares the least about the American culture of it all is Jokic. Like he's like, oh man, like you want me to talk and be in commercials, I just want to play basketball, dude. Just leave me alone. Giannis kind of enjoys the limelight, but is also really grounded, you know what I mean, in the humble way that we kind of see from Wemby. Although, again, he enjoys being a superstar, which is completely fine. And now we're seeing Wemby. So, like, those are the four examples like right off the top of my head, and they're four of the biggest faces in the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is a really deep thought that these international players in general, not just like the experience against grown men matters relative to being ready for the actual competition of it all, but it also matters relative to being, able to come in and be part of an overall community, because you're used to dudes leaving practice and going home to like their wives and kids. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, let's leave practice and I'll go play Call of Duty, which is fine. You can totally do that. But it speaks to the different levels of experience that these guys have had in other leagues prior to joining the NBA.
Well, I tell you, RJ, I looked at a mock draft on Wednesday, and the top 10 picks, out of the top 10 picks, there were 6 European players out of the top 10. And I'm looking at this going, wow, this is nuts. And I think it's something that people ought to take notice of. I really do, because look, when LeBron retires, Steph Curry retires, and you get some of these older NBA players that we've been watching for a long time, who's going to be the face of the NBA? I mean, right now you could argue it's Nikola Jokic. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama and Luka Doncic. these guys are taking over the league, and I think American coaches need to step up and take notice of this and change maybe the way they're doing things and the way they treat players, especially early on. I think it's a problem for the NBA, well, certainly for American players. And when these big stars go away, it's going to be a European league primarily.
Wow. Have you been to Europe, Joe?
I've been to Italy, RJ. It's the only place I've been in Europe, but I've been to Italy, yeah.
That counts. Do you have a pie?
I guess Italy's in Europe, right?
It's definitely in Europe. Yes. Yeah. What part of Italy?
Went to Milan, Italy, which is, I guess, supposed to be the fashion, place of the world. But I went there after the Spurs won their first championship back in 1999. Back then, just to show you how quickly it's changed, although it's been 25 years. The United States champion, the NBA champion, would go to Europe afterwards and play in a tournament with the EuroLeague champions. And so that's why I went over there. I went over there for Kins 5 back in the day. But they obviously don't do that anymore because most of the European players now play in the NBA.
That's such a great – no, I mean, like, for real kind of time capsule look at what the NBA was like. I mean, it was a few years before that, but, like, everybody credits the Dream Team with, European basketball taking off. I mean, think about the way they reacted to that. Obviously, it was just – because it was a different world. I mean, it required if the 92 Olympics had been somewhere else, if they had not been in Europe, you know what I mean? If they'd been in a different country, if they hadn't been in Barcelona, I do wonder, you know what I mean? The like fortuitous nature of that could have sparked what we know today to be the NBA, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. You feeling warmed up yet? All right.
I'm great.
I mean, it's been 10 minutes.
I'm doing great. It's amazing. I had a couple of cups of coffee. I ready to go.
On the subject of this, did you see the Bill Belichick coffee thing this week?
I did. I don't believe a word of that.
That's what I'm saying. So for anyone who missed it, he says he's never had a cup of coffee. He's 72 years old. That's impossible. I mean, maybe you don't drink it religiously. I can totally believe that. But that you've never had a cup is just an outright lie. There's no way that's true.
I don't see that that's happening either, especially a guy like that, Bill Belichick, who was into his job, worked many, many hours. He had to have something. So what was he snorting? Cocaine? Was it Red Bulls? I mean, he had to have something to keep him awake all that time. And obviously I'm kidding about the cocaine thing, but
not the Red Bulls, though.
not the Red Bulls or the Monsters, but those haven't been around all that long, have they?
I mean, I'm sure that Monster's been around for like 25 years at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it is weird to like kind of close your eyes and envision like a little mini fridge in Belichick's office, like stocked with Red Bulls and Monsters. He has like his assistants just, she's on the phone with the supplier every week. Like, yeah, we need 10 more cases. Bill's just like, he won't drink the coffee that we're making. But, we got pots in the kitchen and he won't touch it. He just really needs the Red Bulls. So, wow.
You got to find something to talk about with Bill Belichick, and I don't even know why. I know that McAfee brought that up about coffee, and Belichick, dropped that bombshell on us all. But I mean, I don't really care if that's the case, but it is very difficult to swallow. I never drank coffee until I got my first job. Never drank coffee through college, and until I got my first job is when I had my first cup of coffee because, well, I mean, that's what everybody else was doing, right? So I kind of was a sheep at that time and just followed along.
Not now, though. Now you're a wolf.
Now I'm hooked. I'm addicted to caffeine.
I mean, that feels pretty normal, though, to start drinking coffee when you enter the workforce. Like, I know that kids now drink, coffee in college. They're like, hey, can I have my, my iced latte on my way to, paleontology or whatever. But
right.
Wow. Gilberto lets us know in the Brigade Bar, Monster was created in April 2002. At that point, Belichick had only won one Super Bowl. So, there's plenty of reason to believe that he had a Monster or a couple, throughout the entire dynasty run.
He had to have had. I mean, nobody's that energetic every single day, are they? I mean,
do you regard him to be an energetic person, though? Like, he's not. Like, if Pete Carroll were to be like, I never had coffee, there's no way I'd believe that because he's energetic. Belichick's kind of slow. He's just really good.
I think Pete Carroll has it's in his veins, right? He just kind of puts it in there continuously. That guy had a lot of energy. But Belichick was one of those guys who was a slave to his job, right? I mean, he really was, and worked all those hours, and was just, and it's hard for me to believe that he didn't have some kind of substance to help him stay awake from time to time. And coffee's the easiest thing.
To close the book on this, Alberto says he had his first cup of coffee in Milan when I was 18, and it's still the best coffee I've ever had. So I hope you had some when you were in Milan, Joe.
I don't really remember. That was a long time ago. I'm sure I did, though. I would imagine that I did. It was an interesting place. And the other thing, and I'll get off the subject, but the other thing I remember is we were there for a week, and we had an off day on a Sunday during the football season, during the NFL season, and I could not find any place to watch NFL football. Now, I think that's changed now because football is pretty popular in Europe now. But back then, in 1999, couldn't find anything, and I was miserable.
Wow. Well, thank God you made it through that, and thank God the world didn't end with the whole Y2K thing right after that.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Wow. On the subject of football, 1 week from today, the Dallas Cowboys should have a brand new player. Joe has been doing mock drafts all morning, and he's going to tell us exactly who that's going to be on the other side of this. Do not go anywhere, or Joe will yell at you. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we got the NBA play-in tournament going on tonight. We'll get you ready for that. Plus, well, we're less than a week away from the NFL draft. We'll talk some Cowboys football with John Machota from The Athletic at 4:35. And, oh, yeah, R.J. Ochoa from the Morning Huddle. He'll join me at 3 o'clock.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the Tin Cup Bar, the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of San Antonio, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to the Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
It's the final days of Diamonds Direct Spring Sale. This is your last chance to get 20% off store-wide. Plus, book an appointment and you'll get an additional $100 off your purchase. You don't want to miss this. 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. And a huge selection of the latest styles with in-store designer appearances. 20% off ends this Sunday. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hello. Hi. Happy Friday. You did it. You made it. The weekend is basically here. Just walk out of work right now. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am RJ Ochoa. He is not Rob Thompson. He is Joe Reinagle. Joe, if you could be Rob, for a day, what would be the one thing you would want to do as Rob Thompson?
I don't know. Does Rob Thompson do anything? Seriously, I'm not sure. I saw Rob last night. He was out and about with us at Taste of the North Side. I think he's just kind of a cool guy. Rob's just kind of laid back, chill. He's just kind of one of those guys that's just kind of chill. But he is very tall, so maybe, I don't know, I'd do some tall things.
I'd want to post up. He talks a lot about his basketball heyday. I'd want to just feel that. You know what I mean? Feel that power. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what that's like. Okay.
I don't know what that's like either. I mean, I'm not a short guy. I'm an average Joe, right? About 6'1". So but Rob's, he's, what is he, Rob? About 6'4"?
He's pretty tall.
He's up there.
Yeah. Well, he's taller than us. That's really all I can say with certainty. The subject of measurables is important right now because the NFL draft begins less than a week from today.
Can't wait.
Joe, a week from now, the Cowboys theoretically will have a new player. They could potentially trade out of the first round and have capital and no new players, but it's been an off season for the Cowboys. What has to happen? I asked this to our guest Joseph Hoyt in the 7:00 hour. And you have a great pulse of the fan base. What has to happen to hook people back in? All the people that are holding pitchforks right now. What has to happen to get them to put them down and to go on and give the team a big old morning cuddle?
I'm not sure anything is going to completely satisfy the fan base at this point in time. But, I found Peter Schrager's mock draft interesting where he had the Cowboys taking Xavier Worthy in the first round. To me, that would be a huge mistake. I think they need to address need. Cowboys, as we've seen with CD Lamb, don't always do that. They draft best player available. So it wouldn't surprise me if they threw us off for a loop and drafted a guy like Worthy in the first round. But, they've got to address that offensive line. And so much is up in the air, RJ, as you know, and as you've pointed out, and you and Rob have talked about it, Jason and I have talked about it. There are a lot of holes to fill on this team. But it seems like the Cowboys are satisfied. At least Stephen Jones is coming out saying they're satisfied with their young guys on that offensive line, and they think they can piecemeal that thing together and give those guys an opportunity. If that is really the case, if that's really how they feel, then a guy like Xavier Worthy in the first round would not surprise me at all. But if it was me, I'm drafting offensive line with that 24th pick if they do indeed keep it.
Yeah, or especially if they trade down, at the end of to the end of the first round. My nirvana is they walk. A week from today, we're talking about they took Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon. They took pick your tackle, who's available, who the board kind of sends to you at that point in time. And again, a week from today, they have an extra third-round pick to play with. At the moment, they only have 1 second and 1 third-round pick, so it'd be great to be going into a week from today with 3 picks at their disposal and a brand new kind of option along the offensive line. To your point, we talked a lot about the Peter Schrager mock, and the reason for that is I put a lot of stock into what Peter Schrager says. Not that he's a draft analyst, but he knows a lot of people. So that he believes this is legitimately possible is concerning. I'm not saying I think Xavier Worthy's bad, but they have so many holes. They're not in that position to where they can afford to draft Xavier Worthy. And you mentioned piecemealing the situation. There's so many people, I'm going to guess there's so many people who didn't know the names TJ Bass or Brock Hoffman that are now fighting for them as options with all of the energy. They're like, you guys are freaking out. We have TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman. That's what Steven said. Just because Steven is telling you the names on the roster does not mean that they're adequate options for this team in terms of actual regular season games, right? Like, cool. Jeremy Sohan is a point guard, right? Like, boom. I feel so much better because you said it out loud. Like, saying it out loud doesn't make it what we want it to be. It just makes it a thing. So it would be, it's such an interesting time where it feels, because offensive line picks in the first round are never fun. They're never sexy. Nobody ever enjoys them. But this team is so starved that it feels like everyone universally agrees, dude, you have to do the safe and boring thing. Like you're in that dire of a situation.
Well, to me, it seems like the most common sense pick. I'm gonna step up and defend Brock Hoffman here because I honestly believe that he might be the guy, and I say that because he did see some action last season. And the Cowboys, if you've noticed over the last 6-7 years, have moved off center a couple of times now, and they're going into their third. So I'm not necessarily going to say that Brock Hoffman's not the guy. I think he can be. So, which tells me, if that's the case, and I feel that way, and Stephen Jones feels that way, that a tackle is where they need to go with that number 1 pick. I don't think center at this point in time is that huge of a deal. I'd rather see them address that tackle situation because, look, Tyler Smith came out and said, dude, I'd much rather play guard. I'm much more comfortable playing guard. I'll do it if they want me to, but I'd much rather play guard. I'd rather him play guard and not move him out to tackle.
That Tyler's doing the dance, that they told Tyler, hey, dude, anytime you're asked this offseason, you're a guard. I mean, everybody's interested in lying right now. Everybody's trying to throw everybody off the scent. I mean, so like, I wouldn't take those words to be gospel is all I'm saying. Ironically, Tyler said that on Brock Hoffman's podcast of all people. So, I again, and that's what I'm most excited about. We're going to finally have a direction that this team is moving in a week from today. Because if they don't draft a tackle, to your point, that will signal that they view Tyler Smith as their left tackle. And okay, now we know that, right? Now we can, we understand this. We can start moving forward a little bit because right now we're just in this sea of unknown, and so that's why, I mean, I feel comfortable with the idea of Tyler at left tackle, whether he loves it or not. I don't feel comfortable with the idea of Brock Hoffman at center. So you give me Jackson Powers Johnson, especially if I'm able to trade down, I'm all about that. But anything else, anything outside of offensive line would be really, really, really difficult to justify.
It would be. First of all, let me just address the fact that Tyler Smith, do you honestly, and this is no knock on him, he's a young kid, but do you really think he's smart enough to just play that game? I don't. I think he wants to play guard. I think that's where he's comfortable, and I think that's where he wants to stay, and I think he was being honest with that. And Brock Hoffman was serviceable last year when he had to fill in. So I don't have an issue with him. But I do think they need to address that tackle situation. And if they don't do that in the first round and go haywire and crazy on something else, then I think that's going to be an issue. But I'm not totally convinced, RJ, that offensive line is in as poor a shape as a lot of us probably think. Now, look, I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be addressed because it does, but I'm just not sure that it's quite as bad as people want to make it out, especially at the center position. I think Brock Hoffman could be the guy there.
You mentioned Tyler Smith. The only thing I would add, right, if you were Tyler and you said, hey, RJ, what do you recommend? And I'm looking out for your best interest. this is Tyler Smith's third season in the NFL. And that's notable because after it, he's eligible for a contract extension. The money at left tackle is very different than the money at left guard.
Yeah, it is.
And so, if you really want to set yourself up, if that's your goal, right? Like, obviously your goal is to play well and be the best you can be and help your team and all these different things. But if you want the biggest bag possible, then you want to play left tackle because it's a very different world. Zach Martin's an amazing guard. There's no question. I mean, he might be the best guard in Dallas Cowboys history. But tackles make more. That's the reality of the situation. Now, Zach Martin's kind of an exception, but I would offer that as fodder for Tyler Smith. You might feel comfortable at left guard, man, but your bank account will feel a lot more comfortable if you go tackle.
Now, you see, RJ, you're going all about money, and it's interesting to me because I have the same argument with Minix. It's not all about money. Honestly, these guys are at the end of the day, they play football. They're competitors. And if Tyler Smith thinks he can be a better guard, I mean, look, as much as, Zach Martin may have made more money playing tackle, he's done okay. He's going to be fine the rest of his life. And Tyler Smith will be okay too. So at some point in time, if you're more comfortable playing guard and you think you can become the best guard there is, then I think sometimes money is I don't want to say secondary because everybody wants to make more money. But at some point in time, is it that much more important that I've got to switch out because, well, my agent tells me I got to make more money? I don't know. I'd rather see Tyler Smith stay at guard because I believe, and I don't think he's smart enough to play the game the way that Steven and Jerry do. He wants to play guard, and I'd like to see him stay there.
That's Joe Reinagle and his "for love of the game" speech.
Exactly. Come on, we're competitors, man.
Joe, let's pick the opening round, first games across all the NBA playoff series. Let's do that. On the other side here, nobody go anywhere, or Joe will find you. Let's just put it that way. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Hi, everybody. Scott Innes here. For 25 years, I've been voicing lovable cartoon dogs like Scooby-Doo, Astro. Hey, I love puppies and dogs. And now I get to help pets that need a voice to save their lives. That's where the Puppy Food Bank comes in. The Puppy Food Bank helps pet rescue organizations so they can feed puppies. For just $11 a month, you can save a pet's life. Go to puppyfoodbank.org now and donate, and they'll send you a nice gift. Puppy Food Bank is proudly supported by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is a Friday, April the 19th, 2024. Get it right when you write your checks later on today. Make them out to Cash or Joe Reinagle, a.k.a.
Who
Joe
writes
Cool.
a check anymore? When's the last time you wrote a check, RJ?
I feel like it's generally for like specific things that are like, oh, we only take money orders. It's like, okay, do you think it's 2001? You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Money orders.
Yeah, it's definitely rare. I'll give you that. When was the last time you wrote a check? Do you know?
I can't remember the last time I wrote a check, to be totally honest with you. I don't know.
Do you know where your checkbook is?
It's been a while. I have no clue where the checkbook is. No, I don't.
I remember when I was in high school, I worked at Office Depot, and I used to hate when people would pay with checks because you would have to put them in this like scanner thing and it would take forever, and then you had to make awkward small talk with the person while they're like you know what was happening. It was but somehow I made it through that, and congratulations.
Oh, you're good at small talk, RJ. You can handle that.
We're not going to pick the play-in games tonight, Joe, because they're a little too up in the air, but I want you to predict the future. All right, you ready to predict the game starting tomorrow? First round of the NBA playoffs starts tomorrow. Okay,
yes.
Let's go chronologically. The Magic in Cleveland. Who wins? Why?
Well, if I had to pick one, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think even though they've kind of been weird toward the end of the season, the Magic just don't have it yet. They're not ready, and I think Cleveland takes that. Yeah.
Super kudos to Edwin for pulling up the round ball rock. Have you ever seen the YouTube video where he explains how he wrote this?
No, Edwin writes that?
No, not Edwin. John Tish or whoever wrote this.
Oh, wow. John Tish. Isn't he the guy with the wavy hair that did the Entertainment Tonight?
Yeah, have you never seen his explanation for how he came up with round ball rock?
No.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna text this to you.
Yeah, please do.
It is a super cool story with how John Tesh. Okay, so we have round ball rock. I'll send you that in a little bit. Anyway, let's move on. So we both have the Cavs. Suns, T-Wolves tomorrow at 2:30.
I like the Timberwolves. I think the defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, will take care of that. Those two guys will handle. Look, the Suns are weird because Kevin Durant can't win a championship without Steph Curry and vice versa. So I don't think he's going to win one this year either.
Steph has won one without KD, just to be very clear here.
Right,
but
well.
I'm going to go Phoenix because I like them a lot. So
now
Suns,
are we going to win the series? Is that what we're doing, or just
if you
tomorrow's game?
Let's do that actually real quick. So that change your Cleveland Orlando pick? Or are you going Cavs to win?
No, Cavs win that series, and I think the Timberwolves beat the Suns.
Okay, I'm still Phoenix. So we both have the Cavs.
Right.
We're both taking the Suns to win the series. Knicks, Sixers.
Sixers. I'm going to go there. I think with Joel Embiid healthy, I know the Knicks are playing pretty good basketball, but I think Philly's going to be a dangerous team. And I know that they had to rally back, but I think Embiid needed some time to get his feet back under him, and he's ready to roll. I like the Sixers in that series.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to take the Knicks here. I told Rob that I told Jason too, I really kind of wanted to pick the Knicks as my playoff team to root for. But after that beta mentality whining about the Brunson ball that Wemby chucked into the crowd, like I can't do it. So, but I am going to pick them to win this series. I don't believe in Philly that much. Are you going to take the Lakers? Are you going to be that guy?
No,
Okay.
No. The Nuggets have to win that. The Lakers suck.
Okay. The Mavericks Clippers. This is a tight one. Tight series.
You know that is a tight one. In my long hatred for number 2 on the Clippers, I really want to see Dallas win that thing, but I'm not sure that they can. That should be a good series, though. I think that might be one of the most competitive series of the first round. But I think the Clippers take it.
I'm going to take the Mavs. Lucas,
I hope you're right, RJ.
He's hitting his peak right now on the year, and I'm not betting against him. And if he's off, Kyrie's certainly capable of carrying them. I think the Mavs are a sneaky Western Conference Finals team, but I don't know if I believe in them beyond that. But anyway, so I'll take the Mavs. I'm taking the Bucks over the Pacers. I know that the Giannis stuff, the Doc Rivers stuff. I trust Dame. I trust Giannis to come back. I'm going to take Milwaukee.
Well, you know what's interesting? It seems like Dame. And I know this is silly to say, but I mean, Dame plays pretty well without Giannis on the floor, and they're going to have to do that, I think, for a few games. So Milwaukee was my preseason pick to win the whole thing. So I guess I have to stick with them. The problem is Giannis is banged up, and I was not a fan of that whole Doc Rivers. I don't know why that happened. That was just dumb to me. But it is what it is. So I guess I got to stick with Milwaukee because I did pick them preseason.
Okay, so even though it's reluctantly, you are taking Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'll take Milwaukee.
Boston, OKC, regardless of who wins, is there a world where, like, if the Kings win, you're going to take them against the Thunder, or are you taking the Celtics and Thunder no matter what?
No, I like the Thunder, and they're young. I get that, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that guy is on another planet, and Chet Holmgren's playing well too. So I like the Thunder to make a deep run. I don't think they win it all, but I like for them to make a deep run.
It helps that they can avoid Denver for so long. Like, you could see them maybe powering through the first 2 rounds and then just getting waxed in the Western Conference Finals. It comes down to that. But I'm with you. I'll take Oklahoma City. I'll take Boston is on cruise control, so I'm definitely not betting against them.
The Boston Celtics, RJ, remind me of your Dallas Cowboys. Great regular season, and then they can't handle the pressure in the postseason.
I'll take them. So okay, I think you're wrong, but whatever. So the only ones we differ on, we're both taking Cleveland. I'm taking Phoenix. You're taking Minnesota. I'm taking the Knicks. You're taking the Sixers.
Yes.
So that's 2, and then you took the Clippers and I took the Mavs, and you did take the Bucks even though you didn't want to. So we have 3 series that we're split on. Okay.
Well, and I hope I'm wrong about that Clippers series. I'd rather see Dallas win that thing just because that one guy that wears number 2, I'm not a fan.
Are you afraid of saying his name? Is this like a Beetlejuice
Oh,
situation?
no, I don't say his name. It's just me.
Okay.
I've got a little number 2 and things that I know that some people buy, some people don't, but I know it's true. He's how do I put it nicely on a Friday morning? Let's just go with number 2. I don't like him.
Okay.
He
That's
ruined the Spurs franchise. I'll say it. He did.
I don't think that's. I don't know that that's like. I'm not saying like this in a mean way, but that's not like breaking news. I will forever be mad that he ruined the swan song for Manu and Tony. That their swan song had to have that cloud hanging over it. That will always bother me. I sent you the round ball rock thing. This is one of the coolest videos on YouTube. This video that I sent you has 2.3 million views on YouTube.
Oh wow! Okay,
it's John Tesh telling the story about how he. I think I'll just tell you the story and you can watch it. But I do think you'll appreciate this. You brought up your 1999 trip to Milan.
Yes.
I never did this. Maybe you did what John tells the story of. He says that he had been commissioned to write a song for the NBA on NBC, the song that we would come to know as Round Ball Rock, which Evan just played. And so he was in the process of it, this and that, and he wasn't home at the time. I don't know if he was on vacation. I forget the exact details here, but it kind of came to him, right? Like, I'm not a composer, to my knowledge, you're not either. And so this little ditty, little tune kind of came to him. So he called himself and left himself a message and was like, I came up, like, hey, dude, it's me, whatever. This is how I think it should go. And then he kind of like, bah, bah, like did it out loud so that when he got home, he could listen to the message and pick it up. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's very cool.
Did you ever do that? Like, call yourself, leave a message. Hey, Joe, don't forget to pick up milk or something like that.
No, because I listen to that and going, what the hell were you thinking? I mean, that just seems a little weird to me, but I know that some people do that just to remind them of things. And I probably should do that more often, but I don't. I just find that weird, calling myself and leaving me, a message. I don't know. It seems a little weird to me. Do you do that?
No, but I understand why he did it. He needed to convey. He couldn't write this down. You know what I mean? He couldn't write down the way it sounded in his head. And he didn't have like his instruments or his recording abilities near him at that moment in time. So that makes sense that he thought of the tune in his head. What other way was he like? He could have forgotten it by the time he got home.
Well, that's pretty sad. I mean, was he out drinking or what? I mean, if you've got a grand idea in your brain and it's a hell of an idea, you're going to forget that. I mean, whatever helps you is great, John Tesh. And if you need to call yourself and leave yourself a message, well, hey, that's okay. I don't know. I mean, if I've had this great grand ideas, I mean, I don't think I'm going to forget that.
Wow. I am stunned that you're not even mildly impressed by this. Again, it's a sign of the times more than anything. And actually, the sign of the times is he's telling this story at some sort of concert, I guess. The outfit he's wearing is very indicative of, the way an adult man dressed in the late 90s. Like a baggy, like white dress shirt buttoned all the way to the top with like a sequin vest. You know what I'm saying? Like no suit jacket, just a vest.
Wow. Okay.
Vest
I never
kind of went
dressed
away
like that in the 90s, by the way, RJ.
When you were going out, you were going out for a night on the town. What was the get up, head to toe? Here.
Well, it wasn't just a vest with a shirt buttoned up all the way to the top. I don't like wearing ties or collars that are, buttoned up. So I don't do that. So I'd have had a couple of buttons undone, right? With the kind of more of Saturday
Joe's here to party. Joe's here to be laid back. Okay, respect.
The Saturday Night Live guys, right? They bounce their heads around, whatever they're called. But that was more my style than buttoned up with a vest.
To be fair, I think he was performing when he told the story. So he's on stage. You know what I mean? It's a little different thing.
Okay.
Not quite prom attire, but in that camp. Can I tell you a deep fear of ours here?
Yes, please.
On the Morning Huddle.
Yes.
Well, so we both picked Oklahoma City to win, whether it's against Sacramento or New Orleans. Rob and I's deep fear is that Oklahoma City is kind of the vision that the Spurs have for how they want to do this thing. They want to slow play this thing. It would suck if they had a lot of success, because then the Spurs are going to say, you know what? Look at that. They're doing it. Exactly. We need to be doing more of that. We need to slow play this whole thing. All of you losers out here who want us to go get talent right now, look at the Thunder.
Well, I want them to look at the Thunder, RJ, because just let me give you this. Chet Holmgren, right, didn't play last year. So he's considered a rookie. I'm not sure how that rule gets in there, but think about that. And they went out and did make a trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And that was the thing that got them over the top. Yes, they had a lot of draft picks, a lot of draft capital, but they went out and made a trade. So if the Spurs will do that and follow Oklahoma City's lead, I'm all for it. They've got to have a productive offseason. I don't think they can wait anymore. Wemby has shown us that he's ready to go. He's got this NBA thing down. It's time to move. I don't get this we can't skip steps, because quite frankly, I don't even know what the hell that means. We can't skip steps.
Yeah, why can't you though? Like even if there are steps, why can't you skip them?
Well, of course you can.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
what
Wemby has forced you into it.
Yeah, why can't you skip steps? Why can't you skip steps? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? What? There's no rule that you have to do it this way. There's no rule that you have to go about it the exact way you did it 25 years ago when you launched everything with Joe hanging around y'all in Milan. All right, there's no rule that says it has to be exactly the same way. You can skip steps. Right? Like, you ever do a project around the house and then you paint something, and the next time it comes to paint, you're like, last time I kind of wasted a bunch of time doing that. I could just cut to the chase right now. Let's cut to the chase.
I agree. I'd cut to the chase all the time. I'm always looking for shortcuts, RJ. Look, the Spurs don't have the luxury of just trotting the same team back on the floor next year. They don't. They've got to go out, and I know Brian Wright said what he's going to be. I can't remember the word he used, cautiously aggressive, whatever the hell that means. They've got to go out and make some moves and get this team rolling. Look, I don't buy into the Wembanyama thing of, we got to do something right away or he's going to leave. I'm not sure that that's the case, but I think we've got to see progress, and I think he needs to see progress, and I think this team needs some veteran leadership around him, and they've got to be competitive next year. Nobody's saying we're going to plan for a championship parade, but they've got to be competitive. And I think if they don't, they're making a huge mistake. They can't roll the same team out there next year. They just can't do it.
I'm not worried about Wemby leaving. I'm worried about wasting time. I'm worried about losing a year, losing an opportunity. You only get so many of these. Gilberto had a comment in the Brigade Bar, saying, look at the Sixers, right? The Sixers have been following the process, whatever, and they're still titleless, right? They're still even, conference finals appearance-less. And to that point, I mean, okay, I think the idea of saying, okay, we're gonna line this up, whatever, and there was that really famous Sports Illustrated cover about how the 2017 Astros would win the World Series, right? And they obviously went on to do it. And it was based on the timing of their overall tank job and all this different stuff. Okay, so maybe there is a plan, right? Okay, we'll be ready in 2026. You have no idea what 2026 has in store for you. You have no idea what the rest of the NBA is going to look like. And even if you can predict all that, look at the Sixers right now. Say the Sixers, Joe, were in 2024, it's going to be great. Boom, Embiid gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? Your whole plan can be thwarted, with a bad step. You know what I mean? With a bad bounce. So that's why you cannot be that picky and that choosy. You have to take as many bites at the apple as you can possibly get. You have a window, and you have to treat it as a precious thing. You can't look and be like, well, the window is going to be 10 years long, so who cares about the first or second year? No, those are so valuable. At the end of the window, don't you wish, looking back on 2014, that man, that 2013 finals, that Kawhi missed free throw, it sure would be nice to have 6 instead of 5. We're greedy as sports fans. We're allowed to be. We should be.
Of course we should be. And I hate it when people say, well, Greg Popovich, trust the process and all this BS. I don't want to trust the process. I want you to make some moves, put a good team on this. Look, the Spurs have been lucky as hell. Let's just face it, right? You got Tim Duncan. You had David Robinson. Now you got Victor Wembanyama. When Tim Duncan came into the league, he had players around him already. Obviously, he had a David Robinson, which was huge, right? But there were a lot of veteran players on that team. Wembanyama comes in, and look, I will give them a pass for this year, the NBA. And I get that. I understand it. But he learned it. And he showed at the end of the season, after the All-Star break, that this young man is ready to roll. He's ready to roll. He doesn't need any more steps to be taken. This guy's ready to roll. They need to unleash him, but they need to put a team around him. Everybody talks about Wemby as being the defensive player of the year, RJ. Well, and he's a great player. But when he's off the floor, the Spurs have no defense. They've got to address that. They need shooters. They've got holes to fill, and I really hope that they fill some of those holes this offseason. Make some progress and let not necessarily the fans, but Wemby see that they're doing something to make this team better.
Joe, I'll see you later on today on the Blitz. I would like you to promise,
RJ.
I would like you to promise us all something you're going to do between now and when I see you at 3 o'clock.
I'm going to take a shower.
Okay, there's a visual for everybody. Don't go anywhere. Joe won't be doing that next on the Morning Huddle. I go on San Antonio Sports Stuff.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
What's he talking about here? He's talking about Asian.
It wasn't me that started that old crazy Asian war.
I mean, isn't that racist?
No, I think it was a crazy Asian war, was it not? It was indeed.
It wasn't Oriental. What would make it Oriental?
If they fried it with bell pepper and pineapple and added sweet and sour sauce, that would make it Oriental.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin up your soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistible soft and having nice. Our crib is always stocked. It's our party rice. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
What drives you? At 303 Car Care, we're driven to put the best detailing products in your hands. We create every formula, fill every bottle, and test every batch of 303 at our Chicago headquarters, always with quality in mind. From cleaners and coatings to our flagship aerospace protective, you can trust that every 303 product does what the label says it's going to do. That's because 303 is driven by quality. Available at most auto retailers and Amazon.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Astros will be in Washington tonight to take on the Nationals, and it is a significant game because the Astros are struggling, but Justin Verlander is back. The Astros swept by the Braves earlier this week. The Texas Rangers will visit Atlanta to take on the Braves themselves. The Rangers World Champions looking to get above 500 with some room to spare. NBA play-in tournament continues tonight. You can listen to all the action right here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama. Drive. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hello, good morning. Happy Friday. It is April the 19th, 2024. Congratulations, you made it. End of the week. Hope it's going well for you. I just found out during the break that I'll be putting together a swing set over the weekend for my son. My son is 2 years old. We got him one, going to put it together. So I am very excited. If you have any words of wisdom, any advice for putting together a swing set, please do not be afraid to reach out. You can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. You can hit us up here on our Buyers Barricades guest line, 210-656-3776. That's 656 ESPN. You can also chime in the Brigade Bar on the Tube of You. That's YouTube for the cool kids if you're watching there. Again, advice for putting together a swing set. Never done that in serious capacity. I've helped out a couple of times, but never led the charge myself. We have 1 hour left of fun. Rob Thompson would say restaurant quality radio. If you're just joining us, maybe you were busier earlier this morning. Rob Thompson not here today. He's playing hooky. He'll be back on Monday. Don't worry about that. We've had a great time this morning. We've heard from a lot of people. Let's see, going chronologically here. In the 6 o'clock hour, we played an interview that I had with Washington wide receiver and soon-to-be member of NFL team to be determined, Rome Odunze. This time next week, he will be on a brand-new team, having gone easily inside of the top 10 of the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. In the 7 o'clock hour, after Silver and Black, our daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, we spoke to Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live. Joseph does a great job covering the Dallas Cowboys on the local beat. This past hour, the 8 o'clock hour, was incredible all the way around as Joe Reinagle hung out for the entire thing. You can access, once again, all of our conversations in the AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault at sasportstar.com. Joe is off and running, maybe in the shower, according to the promise he made to us. I will join him later on today on the Blitz at 3 p.m. So looking forward to that. I'll ask him for some swing set advice. Gilberto says work on the swing set early with lots of fluids. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be conservative with a time estimate here. I'm thinking this thing's going to take like 6 hours, and I think I may be underselling it. Unfortunately, it's going to take a provide a lot of wonderful memories, and that's the perspective that I'm looking at this from. We have one more interview left to play for you that we'll get to in just a little bit. I was fortunate to sit down with Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor. I sat down with them yesterday as a result of a campaign that they're working with Rocket Mortgage. Very cool story there. I talked to Joy about her takes on the Dallas Cowboys, to say the least, and talked to Taylor Rooks about her interview with Trae Young and the possibility, in her opinion, of him linking up with Victor Wembanyama in the future in a San Antonio Spurs uniform. So lots to do, lots to come, obviously. Fred says, make sure you have the right tools. My grandfather used to say that an easy job can become very difficult very quickly if you have the wrong tools. So don't worry. Alexandra says, be patient, read all the instructions. That's really good advice for anything in life, let alone putting together something massive like this. So I appreciate you Brigade Bar members for your life advice, but certainly as it relates to putting together a swing set for my son. I say for my son, I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm definitely going to use the swing set at some point. I don't know if it's designed to hold an adult, though. That's probably something I'll find out when I read the instructions per Alexandra's advice. The NBA play-in tournament concludes tonight. We have 2 games. First one starts at 6 o'clock on ESPN. You can listen to both games here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star if you prefer, if you're on the go, whatever the case may be. The Chicago Bulls are still underdogs on the road against the Miami Heat, despite the fact that Jimmy Butler will not be playing. The winner of this game, oh, Joshua says, don't worry about the extra pieces. If it looks like the photo, you're good. I love that piece of advice. So the Heat, even without Jimmy Butler, favored to win. The winner of this game receives the prize of visiting the Boston Celtics on Sunday, the most dominant team in the NBA this year. So getting through this is only the real start of the journey for Chicago or Miami. After that game is over and decided, the Sacramento Kings will visit the New Orleans Pelicans. The winner of that game will take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the final game of the weekend's NBA playoff action. These are, I don't say the 2 worst possible games that we could have wanted, but I think we really wanted to see a LeBron, Steph, Lakers, Warriors, winner go home, winner gets a playoff spot, loser gets nothing sort of game. That didn't happen. The Lakers advanced, and they'll visit the Nuggets, who they were swept by last year in the Western Conference Finals. And the Warriors season is over, and their dynasty as we know it maybe as well, with some hard decisions coming for Golden State over the course of the offseason. But overall, I think the play-in has delivered in that it has provided an interesting way of beginning the playoffs. It does have some first 4 vibes relative to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, these are not small schools that nobody's ever heard of, although that was not necessarily the case with the first 4 this past tournament, with Virginia being in the mix. But I know that it's hard to get into a game where the loser still has life, which is what happened obviously with Miami having lost to the Sixers and with New Orleans having lost to the Lakers. But these 2 games should be epic. We love in sports, whether it's in the NBA or Major League Baseball or NHL, there are fewer words that are more exciting than Game 7. And that's the energy that tonight obviously offers. It's a Game 7 vibe. The winner moves on, the loser goes home. I'm going to take both visiting teams. I'm going to take the Bulls and I'm going to take the Kings. I know that Chicago is still an underdog, which is strange. I mean, Tyler Herro is a great player, and I understand that he's a problem, but Kobe White has just been amazing. And so I think that Chicago gets through and then ultimately just gets sacrificed to Boston in the opening actual round of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Sacramento, Rob has really gotten into this team, and they're a lot of fun, their energy, their vibe. And I think the Pelicans are more worse off without Zion than the Heat are without Jimmy Butler. But it's probably just too much to expect the Pelicans to contend and compete without Zion against a scrappy team like the Kings. And so if we look into the future and into the actual first round for both these teams, I think the Kings have a better shot just because they're not playing the Celtics. It's just a difficult thing to imagine for the Bulls to kind of hang on and not even hang on to show up in any remote sense and perform well. But the Kings, I think, we have such a question about the Thunder and whether or not they're going to be legitimate here. I know that they're playing well and things like that, but it's hard to trust that. It's hard to trust something you haven't seen in its realest sense, and that's what the playoffs are. And we're obviously going to get that opportunity here with the Thunder, and the Spurs are obviously paying a lot of attention because in some ways they've modeled themselves after the Thunder. Now, Joe had a great point that the Thunder traded for SGA, and that is obviously that has obviously been a big part of their run here. And I don't know who that player is for the Spurs, and I don't know that they have to make a massive trade. I don't know that they have to, do something seismic, but there's no question that the Spurs are going to have to find something this offseason to put them on par with the rest of the Western Conference. I mean, they have Wemby, and that goes a long way, right? That gets you a seat at the table kind of automatically in and of itself, which is a testament to who he is as a player. But that's not enough. That's certainly not enough. I mean, look at the serious teams in that we're expecting to contend for a championship this year. They have multiple superstars. They have multiple players who can carry you. And yes, Devin Vassell had some moments. Yes, Keldon Johnson, we believe in. Yes, Jeremy Sohan had some nice moments near the very end as well. But the Spurs just need more. They need more help. They need to amplify who Wemby is and give him more opportunities to succeed and give him, reinforcements, because it can't always be Wemby. He can't have a 5x5 every night. He can't have a triple-double with blocks involved every night. He's going to have off games. There are going to be moments where he just doesn't have it, where he can't find what's going on. He had a great quote with Kevin O'Connell from The Ringer in the sit-down interview he had with him. He was asked what was the worst part of his defense this past year, and he said that, I'll tell you what Wemby had to say. I thought this was an introspective answer at how Wemby views himself in terms of what his biggest weakness was on the defensive side of things throughout his rookie season.
I mean, honestly, sometimes when I get a block after so it's like it's a big effort, I'm talking like a big effort block. I'm not always going and keeping the play going like I did on the Houston Jabari Smith block,
Like sprinting after the block, you mean? Starting transition?
I mean, or I have a memory, it was Jonathan Isaac in San Antonio. I blocked him once and he got his own rebound, but I was tired, so I was trying to save my strength, save my energy, and he just had an easy jumper. But so yeah, I'd say this is one of my weaknesses.
That's really honest, right? And that's what we want. And I think the reality is that's going to happen. And that doesn't make Wemby, not a good player or anything like that, but he's going to have moments. He's going to have games where he just doesn't have all of the energy possible. And you have to have somebody who's capable of kind of carrying the load in those instances. And that's why this offseason is so important for the Spurs. Debbie, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Denke. Debbie says, don't work on the swing set on an empty stomach. And of course, hydrate and take frequent breaks. Use the picture on the box too along the way. It helps. This is really, really thoughtful, really kind. The Brigade Bar rocks. Y'all are so nice helping me out with some advice on putting together the swing set for my son. That's what I'm going to be doing over the course of the weekend with all the NBA playoff action happening in the background, all the NHL playoff action happening in the background. We've got the Chevron going on in the LPGA. We've got the RBC Heritage going on in the PGA Tour. There's just so many sports. The Houston Astros, Justin Verlander back on the bump. The Texas Rangers visiting the Atlanta Braves. Sports is happening everywhere, and it is a wonderful time of year. Not the best time of the year, but a pretty good second place at that. I guess on the subject of just kind of wide-ranging sports, I had a chance on Thursday to speak to Taylor Rooks, who everybody knows from everywhere, and Joy Taylor, who the same. Everybody knows these two women from all their work and across all the sports media landscape. And I was able to sit down with them at the same time. And it was a really, really great conversation to hear about their initiative that they're working on with Rocket Mortgage. And their thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys, the San Antonio Spurs, and kind of everything under that umbrella. So we're going to go to break, and then you're going to get to hear that. And I hope you enjoy every second. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we got the NBA play-in tournament going on tonight. We'll get you ready for that. Plus, well, we're less than a week away from the NFL draft. We'll talk some Cowboys football with John Machota from The Athletic at 4:35. And, oh, yeah, RJ Morning Huddle. He'll join me at 3 o'clock.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Your gas light's on. We need to fill up.
Gas around here is too expensive.
Don't drive all over searching for the lowest prices. Just download the free Upside app and get cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying gas? I'm stopping now to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code RADIO for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill up. That's promo code RADIO.
Ew. Gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors. It helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
We're here with Jose of the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about what makes the Gomez Law Firm different from all the other law firms in our area.
You know, we pride ourselves as being an open line of communications. We don't have an automated service. You're not going to ever dial our phone number and get some robot on the other line. You're always going to get a person 24/7. Our principal office is here in San Antonio, and we don't only say principal office because our main office is here. We say it because, again, Mr. Gomez was born and raised here, practicing law here in San Antonio in his community for almost 50 years. There are not many attorneys that can say that. If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gomez Law Firm. We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Very pleased now to be joined here at SB Nation by two of the kindest people, not just in the sports universe, but I would say the entire universe. They are Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor. Very difficult to say your names back to back. I don't know if you've run into that challenge so far throughout this process, but maybe you have. Maybe I'm not unique in that particular sense.
No, I think that's a pretty common thing, right? People love that there's all the together, but I think we love it too. We love that we have the shared name. We just add it to the many things that we share.
Taylor squared.
I was going to say,
squared.
well,
Yeah.
Joy, I don't know if you've ever like gone by Taylor, but if you have in your life, it must be very confusing to be around Taylor. Like somebody says, "Hey Taylor," and you're just it's like in Miss Congeniality where she says, "Well, you know, when you're Hawaiian, they say aloha, you mean hello or goodbye." Like that's the situation y'all run into all the time.
I think because my first name is so short, I've never had a nickname that stuck. Like a couple people will call me JT. So they've never really gotten to Taylor. So even when I was playing sports, I never got that. So we avoided it.
I go by RJ, so you know, two initials. My last name's Ochoa, and it's not like a cool name. Like y'all have cool last names that you can go by.
Ochoa is a cool last name.
Ochoa is like actually incredibly catchy. You're selling yourself short.
I appreciate y'all, again, the kindest people in the universe, but it's not like, you know, like if I was an athlete that y'all talked to or talked about, you're not like the slows you down. You know what I mean?
No,
it's like
I would be like Ochoa. Like I'm
Ochoa. Big tackle by Ochoa.
Yeah.
I appreciate the confidence boost. Okay, so I have a lot to get to, including this incredible campaign that you're a part of. But Joy, I have to be honest with you first and foremost. I covered the Dallas Cowboys at SB Nation.
Oh God, okay.
So whether you're aware of it or not, we are pretty familiar with one another. And so you are very, very often good friends with Dave Hellman. And so just, you know, right now is the time, like to get off if you want to dunk on them, like by all means, the gates are open. So go off.
Listen, I don't have anything against the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like most of what I say about the Cowboys is pretty objective. Like I'm literally just reading stats and results. And it comes across as hate, and maybe that's you know, maybe it's something over there that you guys need to deal with. Full disclosure, my mother is a diehard Cowboys fan. When I say diehard, this past Thanksgiving, we obviously had the games on. She watched the game. I was there with her. The next day at her house, she had the game, which we have already watched on television. I was like, Mom, you already watched this game. You're rewatching the game? Like she needs to like watch tape. She was like, yeah, everyone was talking. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to rewatch. We know how this ends, but she rewatched it. The day after that, she had it on again. I was like, you're watching it for a third time? She was like, I didn't get to see the end of it the way I wanted to. Stop judging me. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're right. I should stop judging you. So when I tell you she loves the Cowboys, she loves the Cowboys. I have nothing against the Dallas Cowboys. I cannot say this enough. I'm just being honest.
You know what? Sometimes honesty can make people feel a certain way. I'm sure you've both run into that. Taylor, Taylor Brooks, to be very clear. Again, I want to delineate and be very specific. I'm also a San Antonio Spurs fan. And so you might be the most qualified person in the world to ask whether or not Trae Young will be Victor Wembanyama's teammate in 2025.
I will say I don't have any insider information, but I did interview Trae. And I mean, you know, I asked him what he wants for himself next. He said, you know, I love being Atlanta. It's where I want to be. I, of course, asked him about the rumors. I don't know if it is going to happen. I obviously want Trae to go to wherever he will thrive. But the thought of Trae and Wemby together could be dangerous for everybody else in the Western Conference. Just me watching Wemby this year, obviously we all know what he could do. We know that he was so incredibly hyped, but he is so good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a threat. Nobody wants to go anywhere near the rim when Wemby is under there. He's genuinely somebody to fear on the basketball court. So it's been such a joy watching him. If he had, you know, a good PG, someone to facilitate, someone to also, you know, be on the perimeter, get some shots up, it could be spooky. And I do really feel like the Spurs are only one piece away. Do I know if it's Trae? TBD.
I'm completely with you in that sense. Although I feel like Wemby wants to run point himself because he can do everything. So
Totally,
dude,
yeah. He can do everything. Like, I think what coming into the league, everyone's just like, oh, he's just really tall, right? That's his thing. No, he is truly a Swiss Army knife and has been to this point everything that people thought. So it's been a joy to watch him.
I feel like the two of you are like that in your careers, and I say that not just because you're here. I was talking about it on the street earlier. Just total coincidence that I happen to be here with you two right now. You're both everywhere. You're both, hustlers, grinders. I feel like people who never sleep, people who are constantly working, incredibly driven individuals, and I know that's why you both have had so much success. You have an incredible campaign with Rocket Mortgage that I would love to hear more about, Joy.
Yeah, the Rocket NFL draft, and our campaign is the Dream 8 campaign. It is around the NFL draft. Taylor and I are very excited about it because, well, one, we get to showcase our incredible friendship and the fact that we are dream mates, but we also get to encourage a really great cause. So if you go on social media and use the hashtag Rocket Dream Mate, every time you use the hashtag, Rocket Mortgage will donate to support Habitat for Humanity. So make sure that you share who your dream mate is. But yeah, it's a really special campaign. Obviously, the NFL draft is very personal to me. I got the opportunity to watch my brother be drafted in 1997 to the Miami Dolphins, which was obviously a dream for him. And, we were his dream mates during that experience. And so it really is a special, special experience. I know Taylor loves the NFL draft as well, but it's so special to see people surrounded by their dream mates entering into the next phase of their career and all the work that they've done. So Rocket Mortgage is the partner for the NFL draft and wants to encourage people to have the perfect dream mate with them during the home buying process. So it's a really special campaign.
Yeah, Taylor, the NFL draft is, Kate McAllister said in Home Alone that Christmas was a season of perpetual hope, but it really is the NFL draft because anything can happen. Your whole season, you can land a Victor Wembanyama, so to speak. So buying a home is like that. Finding a dream mate, finding people to dream alongside you and with you is a really powerful thing in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, with Rocket Mortgage being the official mortgage partner of the NFL draft, it just signifies something that feels like a marker in your success, right? Being able to buy a home, being able to fill that home with your dream mates, to be around the people that have truly supported you up to that point. And one thing that, Joy and I love about being in sports media, that we love about covering these athletes is we want the human side. And one of the things that makes you the most human are the people that you surround yourself with. It's your family, it's your friends, it's your partners, it's everybody who makes you feel good, everybody who is supporting you along the way. Because we all know in all of these stories of all of our favorite athletes, it takes more than just you. It is a village of humans. It is a network of those that believe in you. And the draft is really just a culmination of all of that. And that's one of the reasons it is so special to both Joy and I.
Yeah, there's nothing like the familial shot of everybody jumping up and down and somebody like rifling through the box to find the cap, like find the Dolphins cap for Jason, you know what I mean? Put it on him, whatever. So that is really awesome. Great work that you both are doing. Continued success. Obviously, we wish you here at SB Nation. Joy, continue to give us content, I guess is maybe the best way I can put it.
You know what? That's the best I can do. I can promise you that we will be talking more about the Cowboys. We will never not talk about the Cowboys. So you have nothing to worry about. But I promise you, Dallas Cowboys fans, it is not personal. In fact, I would argue that it would be crazy for it to be personal because my mother would be very mad at me. So
it is wild though, because nothing moves the needle like those Dallas Cowboys.
We get
nothing moves the needle.
A lot of commenters will say things like the NFL is so rigged against the Cowboys. Like, do you think if the NFL could rig anything, it would be for the Cowboys to just go on this incredible run and be, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I can assure you that they want the Cowboys in the postseason every single year. Yes. Like
they want nothing more.
100%.
Thank you both so much. Have a great spring. Have a great NFL draft, and enjoy your time with your dream mates.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You too. You have such incredible energy. Thank you for your time.
Our thanks to Taylor Rooks, Joy Taylor, and Rocket Mortgage for the time. Speaking of time, it is time for a giveaway. We have SA Missions tickets for April the 23rd. Missions baseball against Wichita Wind Surge, the Wichita Wind Surge. We've got a family 4-pack of tickets to see the Missions at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let's go ahead and give these away. We got phone number 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Let's do, Edwin, caller number 3. Let's do caller number 3 gets these mission tickets again for April the 23rd. Best of luck to you all. It was obviously fun to hear Joy Taylor talk about the Dallas Cowboys and how that goes, but also fun to hear Taylor Rooks offer some hope for Taylor Young and Victor Wembanyama. Caller number 3, get your tickets. We're going to tie a bow on this thing when we get back from the other side of this thing. Go on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, Rob Thompson here for Tri-County Meat Market. The weekend is here. You better head over to Tri-County because the specials are stacked deep and they're getting rid of everything you need to up your grilling game. Time to go get some prime or some akaushi, some wagyu, and put it on the grill. Specials are waiting on you. 5 for $25 in play today. Head over there. They're going to fill a bag with 5 items that are going to fill 2 menus. $25. No better deal in all of San Antonio. Trust me on this. If you're heading over for fine hamburger, you're not going to get anything better than what Tri-County does. I think that meat actually expands on the grill, and the house-made dog's as good as you're going to get. You're looking for a tomahawk, they got them. Bone in, bone out. Ribeyes, the porterhouses. Oh, my goodness. That's Tri-County Meat Market. 2 locations, Heebner and Ralph Fair. Looking for a great rub, looking for something to go along with that great meat. They got that, too. Head over to Tri-County today. Get some of that great meat, put it on a grill, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the Tin Cup Bar, the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of San Antonio, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to the Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you one of the nearly 10 million families that own a timeshare? Unfortunately, many families stuck in timeshares have learned the dark side of ownership, as their timeshare ends up being nothing like they were promised. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. If you were lied to when buying a timeshare, you're going to need help. I know this because I once worked as a timeshare salesman, but quit the business and made it my personal mission to help folks get rid of bad timeshares. That's why I put together a timeshare exit information kit to help you understand how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Over 30,000 families have trusted us to get rid of their timeshares. Many started out by simply calling us for the free information kit and are now timeshare free.
To get your free information kit, call Wesley Financial now. Call 800-837-1919. That's 800-837-1919. 800-837-1919.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with autopay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit. Love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
San Antonio's sports star. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
Huddle. Arriba. It's Friday. It's a very exciting thing. There's been no Rob Thompson here today for those of you who parachuted in after the fact, but we have had a wonderful day filled with all sorts of fun and activity. Let's see here. Let's kind of recap things. If you all want to check out the audio vault at sasportsstar.com, the AABS Bail Bonds audio vault, to hear all of the wonderful conversations that we've had. Chronologically, in the 6 o'clock hour, we played a conversation I had with Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze. Going to be a first-round draft pick, going to be a top 10 draft pick, maybe even top 5 next week. We'll see how that ultimately all goes. Maybe top 6 or 7. Might be a little bit more fair. That was a lot of fun. We had it, obviously, our normal Silver and Black segment, our normal Silver and Black podcast. You can check that out. Played a lot of Wemby stuff that we're about to get to, a different kind of cut on the Wemby thing in a moment. Spoke to Joseph Hoyt of Texas Lone Star Live. Joseph does a great job covering the Cowboys on the local beat. Talked about what to expect from Dallas, obviously, with the first round of the NFL draft now less than a week away. Very insightful conversation. Joe Reinagel joined me in the 8 o'clock hour. We had a whole hour's worth of fun, and we're going to have another one. I'll be with Joe on the Blitz later on today at 3 p.m. So we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. Just a moment ago, we played a conversation that I had with Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor. Our thanks to them for the time. Thanks to Rocket Mortgage. Very cool conversation from two of the best in the world of sports media. I also asked those of you watching, listening for advice. I'm putting together a swing set. I'll be doing that for my son this weekend. Let's see here. Leroy chimes in on the Brigade Bar. Says, send the family away. Don't let them see your frustration. It won't be pretty. I'm so excited now. Thank you very much, Leroy. I feel very optimistic about what's going to happen here. Obviously, this is a bit of a challenge, and so I'm interested to kind of undergo it and take it on. But I am definitely anticipating some high levels of frustration. I might throw something on the smoker while I'm out there to help kind of keep everything, in context, that it's all going to be all right. We gave away missions tickets a moment ago to caller number 3. So congratulations to our winner. And I mentioned it a moment ago that we were going to be kind of looking at the Wemby thing in a different way. For anyone somehow unaware, Victor Wembanyama hung out with Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer in a big sit-down interview. You can watch it on The Ringer's YouTube channel, or you can listen to it on the whole thing. You can listen to it on The Ringer NBA Draft Show. Wemby is obviously a lot of fun and a super interesting person and a super interesting character in the theater of the NBA now. And so getting a massive interview like this with him and getting to hear more about who he is as a person, we've obviously gotten to know him quite well over the course of the last year, but it is a bit of a different thing. So that being said, we know that Wemby is an amazing player. We know that he has a great and a deep hunger for succeeding. We know that he wants to be the very best that he can be. And we know that he put himself through a lot, obviously, with, you know, being that talented, being that versatile means having to do a lot of things, a wide ranging, versatile number of things as a singular NBA player. And that's a physically taxing thing. We saw him sit out the season finale against Detroit. Obviously, the Spurs got the 22nd win of the season a week ago tonight against Denver, and very comfortably put themselves on the right side of history as far as fewest wins in franchise history. But when it was after the gauntlet that was his rookie season in the NBA, and here's what he had to say.
My body's feeling great, I'm great. It's feeling this way too, but the fact that I'm feeling healthy and great, it just makes me feel like I didn't do enough. Like I wasn't hard enough for my body.
Gonna play 82 then, right?
Yeah, I mean,
no more
got
minutes
to.
restriction.
But the truth is, it was the right choice to do what we did, and that my body got stronger and better over the year, and that the adaptation capacity of NBA players is just incredible. I learned that this year. It's just incredible. And so my body's feeling good, but I'm mentally I'm tired because whole NBA season. So I need to I'm gonna rest for a little bit, 10 days or so, and then right back into San Antonio, work until I join the national team.
That's really positive to hear, because I think if you want to be negative, the worst thing that we could have heard was I'm exhausted, right? Because you were on a bit of a minutes restriction, certainly early on. You didn't play 82 games. You weren't a playoff team, right? I mean, we're anticipating a world on a, annual basis where Wemby is playing a lot of basketball, because the Spurs are going to be playing a lot of basketball, because they're going to be making deep, deep, deep playoff runs. And so I think that's really commendable that he said that the way the Spurs handled him was the right thing to do. He didn't have to do that. And I know that we all experienced varying levels of frustration over that, because it was a matter of, hey, you're not winning games anyway. He needs to take every opportunity to learn from this. And I suppose with the benefit of hindsight, it's worth saying that maybe the Spurs were learning, that maybe they were learning how often they can play him, what limits they can push him to, what the maximum he can reach is from a physical work toll perspective, so that they have that information when they are in seasons where they're competing for playoff spots, where they are competing for championships. You could look at this past season as one big, massive data collection period for the Spurs to learn about this, that, and the other, everything about Wemby, because while they knew a lot and they knew everything they could know, there was just an enormous amount of information and an enormous amount of experience that they didn't have. So kudos to them and kudos to him for taking it the right way. Because if he follows the proper plan, if they design the proper plan, then we are talking about a player that has the potential to do some really special things, right? We're talking about a player that we all believe has the potential to deliver championships. I mean, multiple championships, a player that has the potential to rewrite NBA history as we know it to be, to kind of break the mold, the conventional mold for what we even define NBA history to be, right? I mean, we talked about this so often, over the last few months, about how every night it was like, what's the stupid stat that Wemby has now? What's the incredibly weird thing, the incredibly uncharted territory that he somehow found a way to plant his flag in the middle of? Because that's going to be him over the course of his career. He is going to, this is truly the Mufasa, Simba, everything the light touches is yours moment for Wemby. Everything he wants is in front of him. And if he has the right people working and operating with him and behind him, then he can achieve anything and everything that he wants. And I don't know what that means. I don't know that he can become, the best whatever in NBA history, but I don't know how you can say anything is impossible right now. He was asked about potentially finishing as the GOAT when it's all said and done. And he's a really humble person, which is why his answer was interesting.
People say that?
Yeah, I say that. You do have a chance to be the greatest player of all time.
I mean, what goes on is not much really. Over the last years growing up, I've just learned to know myself so much and more, that, I'm sure of who I am and what I'm doing. And there's just nothing that could push me out of my way. And nobody could have expectations for me, really. I have my own expectations. And 99% of the time, they exceed all those expectations. So it's really just some noise, and I don't pay attention to it.
I don't believe that he doesn't pay any attention to it. That's just I don't think anybody could avoid it all, but I think he does a pretty solid job. Honestly, he does as best of a job as you can. Fred says in the Brigade Bar, how times have changed. Game management is so in focus now compared to other Spurs. David Robinson and Timmy Duncan. And I mean, I think that we just know more. I think we have access to more information. I think we have more experience. I think that, the regular season has lost, I don't want to say a little bit of meaning, but I think that we've been able to dilute and filter out what is and isn't necessary, right? I think we've been able, if you think back to the Isaiah Thomas Celtics run that they had, there was that year, I think it was like 2018, 2019, whatever it was, that they were the 1 seed in the East. And I remember LeBron at the time in Cleveland being asked about this and was asked like, man, why aren't you like trying super hard to be the 1 seed or whatever? And he said, and I mean, I'd never thought about it this way. And that's what's kind of cool about it. LeBron said, why would we work really hard for 2 weeks when we can just go out and take it back in 48 minutes? And that was really impressive, kind of, breaking down things to brass tacks, right? Like, again, filtering out the unnecessary. And again, that isn't to say that the regular season doesn't matter, but in many ways, a lot of it is fluff. A lot of it is extracurricular. A lot of it is the side dishes on your plate that you don't have the biggest intentions of eating. What you need is the primary source of protein or whatever in this case. And, in some ways that's getting into the playoffs or whatever, but in other ways it's improving your playoff positioning. And if there is a line, I think, where things are or are not worth stretching yourself beyond your comfortable level of limitations. And so if that involves, or if that means you have to rest players, you have to manage things, you have to load manage whatever, because you're putting yourself in the best possible position to win a championship, that's what matters the most. That's the source of protein. That's the meat at the center of your plate is the title, not, this middle of March win against the Nuggets that you can feel proud about. Now, to be clear, I think the Spurs should be proud of their, middle of April win against the Nuggets because it was a great way to kind of end the season. But I think the overall point stands. We kind of started talking about this in referencing Wemby as this unique person. And as we've visited, this conversation that he had with Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer, which I seriously cannot encourage you enough to listen to in its entirety. There was one clip that kind of really made the rounds when this dropped on Thursday. One line, one quote that was really just kind of everywhere. And as we've been talking about the whole interview, so many of you have commented, have said, he's so humble. This is so much wisdom for such a young person. I mean, I would offer, I would challenge you to find any person of this age in any walk of life, whatever their, profession is, that is this grounded, because Wemby seems to be. And I think we all kind of wonder exactly where that comes from. He had a really interesting kind of take and perspective on how, what I guess some people would deem to be the distractions of life in the NBA, how those don't really bother him, or those aren't really a factor for him in his life.
Definitely wasn't. And as I said before, it's in the last years, 4 or 5 years, I've learned a lot about myself because I chose to face, all the truths, and because I do think like my environment growing up was great for this, and my experiences were great for developing my personality and my identity, really. That right now I feel like I'm immune to all the like I just feel like I'm immune to like the things people try to tell me, oh, pay attention to this, or watch out, all the bad things, like
Distractions.
Yeah, distractions, exactly, like partying, like alcohol, drugs, whatever. Like, why would I ever do that?
I mean, seriously, it's just a really impressive level of wisdom. I mean, I don't know of a more appropriate word. And I think about that, like the idea of this overall idea is always on the top of mind for me around this time of year. Well, with the NFL draft happening next week, right? Because Wemby's obviously already a professional and already on his NBA team. But, when it comes to the NFL draft, we've seen stories in the past, right, about players who, are in the pre-draft process a month or 2 months out from the draft, and they get in trouble for this, that, or whatever. And the response typically is just, man, what are you doing? You're so close to this. Why would you jeopardize your future? Blah, blah, blah. And, I always, whenever I talk to draft prospects or interview them, right, bet you're just working out and watching Netflix every day, right? Because I mean, I imagine that's the advice they get is just do nothing. Now is the time to kind of focus. Now is the time to weed out those distractions. And it seems like those are not a thing for Wemby. And I completely buy that. I buy that to be completely and totally authentic. It seems like he's just, we're talking about a person who just loves basketball and loves his fantasy novels and is very secure and content with who he is. And I really admire that. I admire that level of security in your own kind of personal standing. I think we all strive for that in many different ways. And so I'm just so impressed with Wemby. And I was really impressed with what he had to say, obviously, throughout the course of this interview. And who could not be impressed with how he played throughout the course of his rookie season for the Spurs? It's been an incredible year to kind of watch unfold. And I know it's frustrating that, we have to wait a little bit for another opportunity to see him play in a Spurs uniform, but he mentioned it, obviously getting ready for the Olympics and the national team there with his Parisian teammates. It's gonna be a tough scene for the United States, obviously, to have to go up against him at some point in time. In all likelihood, the U.S. team that will feature Kawhi Leonard, who Joe Reinagle did not want to speak about when he was here over the course of the previous hour. Kawhi took the final spot on. Thank you, Kawhi, on Team USA and the roster. Yeah, I mean, we've got a fun summer ahead as we prepare for a new reality that Victor Wembanyama is helped crafting for the future for San Antonio and the Spurs and everything kind of under that entire sun. Next week offers a lot of sporting action. I mean, we're going to have so much going on that really starts tonight. The play-in, tournament setup, whatever you want to call it, comes to a close tonight. One of the Chicago Bulls or Miami Heat will advance to take on the Boston Celtics, and one of the Sacramento Kings or New Orleans Pelicans will advance to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And when they do, when those two games are finally over, we will officially set the playoff field for the NBA this year. First game tips off tomorrow at noon, and then we've just got days after days after days with playoff basketball, playoff hockey. Justin Verlander's on the mound tonight for the first time this season with the Houston Astros. First time before the trade deadline for the Houston Astros in 2 years. Obviously, they acquired him last summer, bringing him back from the New York Mets. Astros were swept in pretty embarrassing fashion by the Braves in the middle of this week. The Texas Rangers will be in Atlanta to take on the Braves themselves starting today. So we've got big-time baseball action happening in the state as well. I brought up Kawhi. I know it's not fun to root for the Mavericks, but Dallas is playing the Clippers, so it does kind of make sense to put our energy behind them in the first round of the playoffs this year. The NFL draft is next week, the aforementioned NFL draft. So we're going to be hearing all about draft prospects and the final kind of rumors. Gilberto says, are they rushing Verlander back? I would love to say no, Gilbert, but based on how poorly the Astros are kind of handling everything, I would not put it past them right now. And I hate that I have to, feel that way, but it's hard to trust anything the Astros are doing right now. They're a really bad baseball team. I mean, they're 6-14, and granted, they've generally found a way to kind of turn things around when they've been in situations like this over the last few years, but it feels pretty dark for them right now as far as the prospects of this year. But maybe JB will show up tonight and kind of turn things right. They have a long way to go just to get to 500. So we'll see if they're able to claw themselves out of this hole. In the golf world, the LPGA is in the middle of their first major of the season. The Chevron Championship is going on in Houston, actually. The PGA Tour is at the RBC Heritage, one of their signature events. I'm so excited for this sports weekend because there's going to be something on at every hour of every single day. And I'm going to need a lot of action on in the background on Sunday, because if you missed it, I'm going to be putting together a swing set for my son. And I appreciate all of you who offered different levels of advice and different levels of encouragement. I'll report back on Monday morning to see whether or not I survived and whether or not it's sturdy enough for another human being, a small human being, granted, to sit on safely and comfortably. Rob Thompson should be back on Monday, barring anything wild and crazy, but you never know with Rob. So we'll see how that ultimately goes. And we'll check in with him and find out how his Thursday and Friday were away from school, so to speak. I'm excited to hear about his adventures through all of his gallivanting. Like I said, I saw him on the Instagram on Thursday night. Joe talked about him and their co-gallivanting that they experienced at Taste of the North Side. Speaking of Joe, I'll be back on the air with him later on this afternoon. You can hear Joe and I together at 3 p.m. today on the Blitz. Joe, like me, flying Han style, so we came to this agreement to kind of work things out this way. So looking forward to that, seeing what happens in the sporting world between now and then. Congratulations to our winner of the missions tickets, and congratulations to all of you, because the weekend is here. You did it, you made it, and I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have wonderful food to eat. I hope you spend it with people in your life who you love and care about deeply, and I hope you have just the best couple of days ever, because that's exactly what you deserve. I'm excited to chop it up with you again later on today on the Blitz, as mentioned, and once again on Monday morning here on the Morning Huddle. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy all the sports. We love you all. Y'all stay cool. We'll see you next time. This was the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is